Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Dark Council podcast. It is the Freelancer here with Jake.
Yo!
And we are here today going and doing our... today we are doing our review and kind of overview synopsis of the last season of Andor. And I guess we could do Andor as a whole, because now that the whole series is done.
It's kind of done now.
The whole series is done since Tony Gilroy never got the opportunity to do his 5-season plan like he wanted.
I mean, unless they find out a way to, or if they pull out a Borderlands pre-sequel type shit.
I mean, there's not anything really they can do outside of... there's nothing really to cover at that point. There's nothing really that can be touched on. Like, the worst they could do is they revamp... They make like a director's cut with they made like a extended version with all the... with some of the cut scenes or some of the scenes they really wanted to have in but couldn't because of both time constraints and shit. I don't see that happening.
The way I see it is, if they're going to continue it at all,
which is hard considering what happens.
Yeah, but what it'll do is it'll end up being like it'll do the same thing like 3 years before. Mm-hmm. And it'll just be like a short, 3 to 6 mini episode miniseries.
Yeah,
where they go in depth into those years that we skipped to.
No. But yeah, no, that we are out here going to be giving our thoughts and synopsis on Andor and its entirety, which, by the way, I mentioned this last night after I brought it up in the other Discord. The added context of knowing what happened in Andor when you go back and rewatch Rogue One adds a whole other fucking layer to that movie.
Yeah?
Yeah, it adds a
my
whole
plan
other
was
layer.
to watch Rogue One again. I just didn't get time to do it.
Yeah, I did that at work yesterday. I came in and I sat down and I started watching Rogue One all day for like the first 2 hours at work.
Hell yeah, dude.
So we do have a bunch we're going to be talking about, and this is going to be spoiler filled because it's been a week now. There has been plenty of time.
Yep, Andor spoiler cast.
So don't you go into this and expect spoilers. Best I can tell you is go and check out the other episode. Go and check out the one we did. Was it on the 3rd we did one?
Yes.
Because I think that was... I don't even remember exactly what we did on that one. I'd have to go back. But it's been... scheduling and trying to keep up with everything amidst the mess that has been my computer has been a fucking mess and a half. I'm dealing with bullshit over here, and it's not great.
I've heard it's real bad.
Yeah, it's not. It could be better. It's not, but it could be better.
Have you ever told your computer just to do better?
I've tried. It clearly does not want to.
Just sit it down, have a real conversation.
I'm thinking I may need to look at getting a new... Supposedly my hard drive that my dad ordered for me, apparently he got me like a 4 terabyte external, so I'm gonna actually have fucking space to put shit. Supposedly that's coming in today, sometime later, so hopefully things will be back to normal there, but as of right now, I'm stuck with this 1 terabyte before we move everything over to 8.
Yeah, that's fair.
Don't wipe and format, all that shit.
All the good stuff.
One more move and wipe that drive. So it's stuff that'll have to come later, but we're... I guess today's episode... I will also make the preface. We did have another episode that we recorded last weekend, It has not gotten the chance to go up yet, so that'll go up probably sometime today. I may do a double upload tomorrow to make up for the lack of one last week. Because we will be doing our book club tomorrow, where we are going to be going over and talking about the Star Wars: The Old Republic Deceived novel.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was. That was a good one. I
got an hour and a half left to go.
You still have like the last act.
I have the good part to go.
You have the last act of it. I mean, to me, the best part was the opening sequence of, like, the first 3 chapters of this are a phenomenal fucking start.
It's a really strong start. It is just so tore.
It's literally the deceived intro. It's the betrayal intro from it's the betrayal intro from what is it? For the Sith Empire. The Sith Empire intro is literally what this is.
Yep.
But we're coming at this with a lot of new take. Coming at it with a lot of the added context of what happened after that whole sequence and what was going on before. And as somebody who knows the fate of pretty much every character involved in that's
Yep.
But we'll be giving our full rundown of that tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. That will be a stream, as all of our book club episodes usually are. Check that one out tomorrow, and we will be making our announcement. I will probably make the announcement on the book club today, if not tomorrow, because I've already got one I'm planning for us. I gotta check back on my Audible to find it, but I've got one I want us to do for next month. I've got like next month and the one after already lined up. So we've got some we'll have some hopefully interesting reads coming up.
Nice.
But Andor. So I think the best way to tackle this is going at it arc by arc. Or kind of tackling it with like every chunk of episodes.
Okay.
So
you're talking like from Andor original.
Yeah, we'll go for like season 1. We'll go to like season 1, and then we'll chunk out season 2, because season 1 was like season 1 we pretty much can run through in every little individual piece, because there's pretty much the whole arcs that can be run through that we don't have to worry about like jumping sequence on anything.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, Andor Season 1 has been out a fair while. Everyone's seen that. And now that the whole thing
is out... If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? It's so good.
Definitely should go watch it. I would definitely recommend it. It's probably... I think after finishing Season 2, I could safely say that this is definitely the best piece of Star Wars media I've ever witnessed. Like, at least of everything Disney has made, this is definitely the best piece of Star Wars media that they've put out.
Of Disney-made Star Wars media, Andor is the best. It is not even close.
I think the only things that really capture the same measure, in my opinion, are the Bad Batch and the final season for Clone Wars. Rebels, to me at least, captures a lot of that energy, but Rebels I know is not a particular favorite of yours.
It's fine.
So it's
fine.
I
know Star Wars is made for kids, but however,
I think Filoni's own words stated like Star Wars is designed for like 12-year-old boys, so it's not going to always be this dark, gritty nonsense.
No, that's what I want. I want what I'm a fan of to grow with me. Don't get new fans. Just make shit for the ones who stuck around. Be around for your day ones, dude.
Well,
fuck them kids.
Fuck them kids.
In the immortal words of Michael Jordan. Fuck them kids.
Oh my god. So I think the easiest way, and to kind of save a little bit on time, we'll actually just kind of brush through season 1 in its entirety before we start chunking out season 2.
Yeah,
and we'll kind of chunk through the first 3 episode review because we already did that. You can go check out that episode on the YouTubes. We've already done our initial review for the first 3 episodes, for the 3 episode premiere, which was fucking insane what goes on in that one. So we're not going to go into it that deeply. But we are going to go over a bunch more of the episodes after and kind of talk about everything as it had built up to where it ended. Kind of everything that ended up building to what we know in other media and other context, and thus the entire media beyond it. So it's gonna be an interesting ride all the same. So let's go ahead and chunk through Andor season 1. So obviously this is where we're canonically this is our first actual introduction to the individual Cassian Andor, who is at first on this whole quest to just find his sister, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a point that, in my opinion, doesn't really go anywhere after a certain point. It just kind of gets dropped really fast. But they go through we're introduced to Cassian, and he's apparently on this corporate world that's held by the corporate sector, I guess. And he leaves this place after killing 2 security officials who try to mug him, essentially.
Yeah.
And he returns to in my opinion, probably one of the more interesting, like, I guess you look at it as, I guess Ferrix is a mid-rim world. I guess Ferrix is mid-rim. Because it doesn't seem Outer Rim entirely, but it
seems too built up for Outer Rim.
I'd say mid-rim. I'd say it.
But at the same time, like Nar Shaddai's Outer Rim, and that place is built up to shit.
Yeah, I mean, we also got to look at, like, I don't know where it's on the map. I haven't actually tried to look for Ferrix on the map personally, so I don't know where it actually lies on the galactic map as of right now.
That's fair.
I'd have to look for it, and I'm not doing that. Well, I will probably end up doing it at some point in the future when I'm just bored and having to look through Star Wars maps for some dumb reason. But we're probably gonna see but Ferrix is obviously a key world in this first season. It's pretty much his home at this point. There's a lot of other characters we're introduced to. Bix, Wilmon, all characters who we will see in the later season. There's also, of course, B2 and Marva, who are pretty key characters in the first season. B2 kind of being like the typical droid companion character.
Yep.
And then obviously Marva is supposed to be Cassian's adopted mother, essentially, who we find out later he was picked up when as a child he rummaged through a crashed Separatist cruiser that Marva and her partner ran through and raided the ship when he was younger, found him after he fended off a Separatist officer. They killed the officer, they took him, they realized the ship was scrapped and that they were going to be dealing with incoming reinforcements. They're going to be dealing with a search party, and they pieced out of there with him. And so they ended up living a life on Ferrix and Marva's partner, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, ends up being like his pseudo father figure.
Yeah.
Who dies when the Empire first tries to claim Ferrix. Because the Empire makes an initial run shortly after Order 66, because we see a flashback in a later episode of the first season of Cassian and the guy basically watching clone troopers, not stormtroopers, clone troopers, marching through the streets of Ferrix to basically demonstrate the Imperial authority that they have now put on the planet.
Yep.
And when the troop line is basically attacked by some stones and like broken tools or whatever, they stop. They turn on the group, and as they're getting ready to basically turn the crowd into a firing line, his father jumps out. Father comes out and tries to claim responsibility, and they gun him down in the street.
Yeah, it was. It's season 1 of Andor was, I think, way darker than season 2.
Yeah, because you also got to think about the other scenes that happen late. The other scenes and the other stuff that comes up later. Because there's also the other characters who pop up. Cyril Karn is another big character throughout the first season, and
dude, he
plays a whole part in the second season.
I feel bad.
Yeah, we'll get to him. We'll get to his stuff in season 2, but he does end up being a character you kind of like after a certain point.
Like I respect the shit out of him.
You gotta respect the hustle that this man puts in. Because he is the officer in charge of, he's basically I think he was a lieutenant for the corporate sector defense, like the judiciary force. He had been given the task of hunting down the guy who took out the corporate sector officers, and they get a lead that he's on Ferrix. They don't know who he is, but they're going after him all the same because they get a tip off that he's the one who did it.
Yep.
Because Bix finds out about it from Cassian, and she goes and tells the guy that she's trying to sleep with, and they end up getting the tip off from him. And the worst part of it is when they actually come to the planet, he gets fucking gunned down just because he's like trying to tell them that, because they try to they basically hold Bix down and keep her like restrained so that she can't like interfere with the operation at all, because they believe that she's gonna try to alert Andor.
I mean, they're right.
They're right. And then he intervenes because they're attacking Bix, and they just shoot. They kill his ass dead. And Bix is fucking down there having to watch as he dies. It's kind of fucked.
Yeah, a little bit.
She's stuck there restrained with binders against a fucking power pole, and she's having to watch. She has to watch as the guy she was into just gets gunned down.
Just annihilated.
Fucking cadaverific.
Cadaverific. Literally looks Bix in the eyes and goes, "Hey kids, want to see a dead body?"
But it's also during this whole sequence where we're introduced to another key player of some of the facets beyond Andor's own perspective, and that is Luthen Rael, who, as of season 2, got a whole lot more interesting.
Oh yeah, no, the first one he was just like, okay, cool. He's like a weird spy master,
cool, like,
and kind of an asshole.
He's the cool like intro to he's the guy who got him into the rebellion, and he's also kind of like one of the informant / mission handlers for rebel groups. He's
the guy who started the rebellion.
He is if there is a force that really does come down to the true spark and some of the first, it really kind of boils down to him and Saw. I think
Yeah.
those
Okay,
it's between him, Saw, and Bale. I think are the three that really come together to form that
Yes.
triumvirate for the rebellion's motion.
I would say that Luthen is the one who started the Rebel Alliance.
He is definitely the one who gets the group together.
Everyone else is like, yeah, no.
I think
Saw's
Saw
a
is definitely
freak.
the one who. Yeah, we'll get to Saw. We will get to Saw later. That is a
man, dude,
whole
Saw
ball of
is
wax.
fuck, dude.
Like,
It is bad.
The descent of Saw Gerrera is definitely something we are going to talk about. Jesus Christ.
It is.
I will say this. It really feels like Saw. You're watching more of this series, and the more you see of Saw after the Clone Wars, you really just watch this man descend into. You are watching this man's descent into madness and despair.
The craziest part is in Rogue One, you see Saw.
Yes.
He's got a little breath mask and shit. You're like, okay, so like he's got asthma or something.
Pretty much been through the rigor, but we now understand a bit more why.
Yeah, you're like, okay,
that.
so he's got asthma, or he breathed in like a bomb or something,
He
like burned his lungs
got a wind
up.
of some really bad fumes of some kind of chemical or something.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
we're gonna
he's still got a hold of bad chemicals.
We're gonna get to
We'll
it.
get to it.
We'll get to it. So obviously we're also introduced to Luthen Rail, who is a big kind of centerpiece for kind of this whole series, because he is kind of the connection to everything. He meets with Cassian to get the star drive, essentially, that Cassian stole. Because he pilfered an old Imperial star drive, and he wants that star drive. So he meets with Cassian in order to get it, because Bix was going to acquire it, but then the whole thing with the corporate sector happened.
Yep.
And Cyril Karn's out here hunting Cassian through the streets, demanding he make his presence known. All the while, the people of Ferrix are not taking this shit lying down. Because they're bowling over fucking officers. They blow up one of the transports, I believe. And it kills a whole... And they kill a couple of Cyril's men, which leaves a massive scar on him.
Yep.
Because he literally watches his entire company get gunned down, save for like 3 dudes. Because all 3 of the teams that go in, only 1 comes out and there's 3 men in it.
Yeah.
And it's Cyril, his sergeant, and like 1 other grunt, who they barely managed to save. But Luthen takes Cassian after this whole debacle and leaves Ferrix. And it's at this point that Cassian is pretty much thrown into the rebellion proper. Because he's given a he's given a job and told, you want to help me out, I will give you this job, prove your worth, and I can let you do more. And he gives him a task of helping out with a group on Aldhani. And this is where we're also introduced to another of our key character circle here, Val, who we later find out is the cousin of Mon Mothma.
Right. I'm like, for a second I couldn't remember who Val was.
You know, she is a key piece because not only does she play a big part as a rebel officer during the later parts of season 2, she also becomes a kind of key centerpiece in the early parts, because she's helping Cassian basically organize the Aldhani mission.
Yep.
And the entire time we're getting this kind of like energy that the Empire is definitely in the mix. We're not really sure the full extent of the Empire's like full tyranny yet. All we know is they've set up a encampment on a hydro dam and have been kind of like passively allowing the local populace who are all like tribal farmers or whatever, well, like tribal nomads, are kind of like allowed to do what they want still. But the Empire obviously has some kind of chokehold on this planet. But another thing is, the rebel group here is trying to get access to the massive credit vault in the Hydro Dam. Because in this Hydro Dam base, there is a whole vault, a like Imperial depository that has, what was it, like 14 million credits?
Yeah, something crazy.
It was like 14 million or 44 million. It's enough to make it was enough to make old John a little jelly of the prize he got from Skeleton Crew. That was
yeah, the money from Skeleton Crew meant nothing.
Yeah, because I mean, even now it really doesn't mean a whole lot.
No. I mean, I think it's the same thing as the fucking.
But it.
Like, what. The other Star Wars game, the open world Assassin's Creed game.
Outlaws?
Outlaws. It more money than Outlaws had.
Yeah, because Outlaws, I think, was close to that, and I think that was still like 14 million. So it was definitely higher ballpark. I think it was like 44 million. Like 44 million credits was what was in that depository. And they ended up they were basically training to prep. And this whole group is a bunch of like different individuals from other groups. And this is very much a ragtag operation. Because you've got one dude who was a former sergeant of the Empire. You got another dude who was just a sleazy criminal. One who is the bright, young, hopeful soul with a whole future ahead of him that is going to get snuffed out instantly.
Yep. Rip.
And then Girl 1 and Val.
Girl 1 and Val. Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, that's all Cinta was, that entire fucking bit. Cinta does nothing for, like, most of this series, despite her having some, like, minor role throughout the series. This is a very, very minor presence throughout Andor. The most active screen time I think she got consistently was in one of the later episodes of one of the middle episodes of season 2. That is the most screen time I think she got consistently.
Yeah.
Which is
they definitely gave her more shit to do in season 2.
But the whole Aldani incident happens, and the whole Aldani heist happens. They go in, they kill a bunch of imps, they get out. A bunch of them also die, because it's literally just Andor. It's Cassian, Val, Cinta, and the sleazy criminal dude who make it out. And the criminal dude even talks to Andor after the heist, because they're trying to save the kid who got crushed by a flat full of fucking credits.
Yep.
Because one of the credit cases came unhinged, and he got crushed when it slid back in the hold. And so they try to save him, but obviously it's not helping. But after that whole thing, the criminal dude's just like, look, we could take this whole load and just fuck off with it, and I'll split this 50-50 with you. Because we could go take these credits and make off with it ourselves and live big. And Cassian straight up, no hesitation, pops this man across the dome.
Yeah.
He just
Andor is what everyone wishes Han Solo was.
Yeah, very, very dark hero aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I
don't even consider him a hero. He is a guy. He is a guy who will do anything to get the job done.
Season 1, I will agree, but as you get more into season 2, you definitely he is very vigilante, dark hero style.
Yes. That's because now he has something worth fighting for.
Yeah, it is very clear that he is just in it for himself more than anything and doesn't really know where he wants to lay his allegiance.
Yeah.
He doesn't really feel comfortable putting himself in one spot, and is really just looking to get back to his people. And, well, that also gets fucked up, because right after he does get paid for the Aldani job, he fucks off. He goes to a tropical world and ends up getting arrested there just because he seems shifty.
Yup.
Which is even funnier, because he gets arrested by a shore trooper who is played by Sam Witwer. Sam Witwer played a shore trooper in that scene, and he arrested Cassian Andor in that one scene.
Yeah, he did. Darth Maul arrested Andor.
That was awesome.
Oh, it's so good.
And then that was also our first, I think that was our first showing in that series of the KX droids.
Yes.
Because they had this one random KX droid walk up, and at first we're thinking like, oh, is this gonna be K2? And like, nope.
No, definitely not.
Shooting your expectations down here and now.
Oh.
But yeah, no, he gets fucking throttled. He's arrested and then taken to a prison complex on some outer rim world where he meets where he is thrown in with a whole bunch of other prisoners in this very unnervingly uniform complex where they are basically making them work on basically assembly parts. They're making them work on these assembly parts for their sentence. And
Andy
Serkis runs the entire thing.
I hate that you said it like that, but you're right.
And he does. Like, his character, Kato, is the basically foreman of that entire floor.
Yep. Like I said, I hate that you said it that way, but you're right.
It's true. It is the truest truth that ever truths. But he spends a lot of time in there, and he learns real quick what that prison does to some of them and how it affects them when some of them step out of line.
Yeah.
Because we're showed one dude where they have a whole thing about not being, if you try to leave your cell during the night, they don't shield off the cell, they don't cage you in, but if you touch that floor after the clock hits and the lights change, you get fucking fried.
Yeah. It is.
That's why they don't let you why they don't have you wearing any shoes. You wear no shoes or socks. You are barefoot the entire time because because they expect you to at some point jump out of your cell and make that mistake. Because that entire floor is wired to kill you.
Yep. Yep. Think of a floor that is also an electric chair.
The floor is in fact lava.
The floor is lava.
As they call it, the floor is hot. Because that was their call out when nighttime hit. Floor is hot.
Yep. The floor is... God damn it, the floor is lava works so well. I'm upset that I didn't think of it first. How dare you?
Got to be quicker than that.
Fuck!
But we're shown a lot of this whole sequence here. But all the while on the side, we're also shown, like, what's going on with Luthen in the process, because he's realized that Cassian may have disappeared and gotten killed, because the Aldani job went through, but Cassian never called in. So he's starting to get skeptical and tries to reach out to other contacts, and is also dealing with other contacts, because once again we find out that Luthen has been working with Mon Mothma to kind of orchestrate a lot of their dealings. And like kind of behind the scenes working to build up the rebellion. Mon Mothma has kind of been his official sponsor, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
But we also, during these sequences, find out that Saw Gerrera has also been one of Luthen's many contacts because, again, Saw's part of the rebellion too. He may be an extremist by the later points, but he is a rebel. And he does work with the Alliance for a while, because we find that out in Rebels. He's the reason we know what happens to the Geonosians. Even though he himself tries to murk them anyway. Which also doesn't really matter, because there's a Vader comic that basically stated that the egg that one Geonosian was trying to keep, that was a queen's egg.
Yep.
The queen was infertile. So they were never able to repopulate the species. So the Geonosians are in fact extinct in canon.
Yes!
There will never be any more Geonosians.
Good. They deserved it.
They deserved it.
You're gonna look me in the face and tell me I'm wrong?
No. But of course we're also shown some like cool on top of all this, we're also shown a really cool space fight sequence with Luthen's ship, the Fondor, which...
What a dumb fucking name.
It's a dumb name, but it is a really cool ship.
It's a really cool ship. What a dumb fucking name.
Because we're also introduced to a new Imperial cruiser called the Cantwell class, which was also aptly named for the original, like, special effects and model designer for the original, for like Star Wars and all of its movies and stuff. Colin Cantwell. It was named after him and was used as, based off one of his original designs for a Star Destroyer.
Hell yeah.
So they made a little homage to him because I think he passed shortly after that episode. He's passed shortly before that episode aired. So that was kind of like an immemorial to him. All in all, though, we're shown Ferrix also getting stranglehold because of the ISB, specifically our other and probably, I think, final piece of this little circle, Dedra Meero. The ISB, an ISB major who at the time was a up-and-coming little spriteling who was looking to just climb the ranks, but unfortunately fell into the pitfall trap of every Imperial villain ever and just became a glory hound.
Yep. Which
is unfortunate because when she's shown in earlier parts, she is a much more interesting character. And after Ferrix, she also takes up a much more interesting role in a lot of places. Like, you are shown that she's not, at least in the early parts, she's not a glory hound. She is just looking to get the job done.
Yeah.
And then in other places, she's also, but in later parts, she also is letting the power get to her head a little bit.
A little bit.
Really shows.
It's just a little bit.
She is, however, still, she gets really intense in the later arc, in the later season, though, so there's stuff we will definitely talk about there. But she's kind of a key antagonist figure for the first season. And kind of persist for that throughout the rest of it, but the Empire as a whole pretty much acts as the antagonist figure for this entire series. Because you kind of look at it this way. Cassian Andor is our main character, and to put it bluntly, I honestly have been viewing Cyril Karn as kind of like the kind of mirrored perspective for him. He's the other side of that mirror in terms of like what he's trying to do. Whereas Cassian's trying to find that purpose and drive to do anything. Cyril's looking for the purpose, but in a way that he's looking to do something that justifies his strong belief. His strong beliefs are he's looking to just do justice and do right for everybody. But he doesn't, but he's being led along by others, whereas Cassian is just kind of floating wherever. For a while, Cassian ends up floating wherever and taking what he can get. Cyril's just kind of like being led along by others for most of his life until towards the end of his story, where he finally takes an initiative of his own to do what he believes is right. But we'll again talk more about that later. And I will say, like, during the whole Ferrix rebellion, it's really interesting what happens with him, because he does appear on and off throughout the later parts of the first season, because he ends up getting a job as as part of a logistics office on Coruscant, and eventually he starts working there for he ends up meeting with Dedra Miro after a certain point, because they both have a vested interest in the individual Cassian Andor, who they believe may be the tie-in to what they're both hunting. Cyril for his own revenge, and Dedra the key to stomping out the rebellion and finding this individual she is titled Axis. Who is in fact Luthen Rail.
Yep, that whole thing messed her up bad.
Yeah. Her entire hunt to stop the rebellion was what really messed her up. Because she does end up getting charge of Ferrix after a certain point, when she is shown that she's able to perform better than her other officers in the ISB. She's given this opportunity to really shine after the Aldhani job, I believe, because she finds out about what happened at Aldhani and is able to relay all that, and she's the one who kind of puts the chokehold on that planet.
Yeah.
And it's after that when they find out that there may be some involvement from Ferrix that she is given the charge of Ferrix. She's given that as a official posting to perform an operation and quell the insurgency that has been popping up there. Because the other ISB officer who was in charge of that has not been performing his job that well. He's kind of been sitting on his ass and letting things kind of ride.
Yeah, like Imperial officers do.
Yep. And unfortunately, you're ISB. You gotta actually be doing something, dipshit.
Yeah. You don't have to be, but if you aren't, you won't be for long.
So he is definitely thrown out in favor of Dedra, which comes after the Aldhani job, when Colonel Yularen makes an appearance as one of the first official cameos out after Mon Mothma appears. After Mon Mothma's appearance, Colonel Wolf Yularen appears as a live-action cameo for this series and makes an announcement to the ISB that there is no more room for letting things go under the rug. We can't let the cracks form any deeper. We need to be silencing the voices and quelling this outbreak.
Yep.
And it's even wilder because when Dedra tries to make a stand up to point out to Yularen about Axis, Yularen's just like, okay, so what?
Yeah, what's your point?
She makes this very standard point, and he's just like, okay, what else you got? But she's just left flabbergasted, like, that's not enough? I need a lot more than what you're giving me here. I don't think you understand how deeply everything is going.
You don't understand how far down this rabbit hole goes.
Obviously, the whole event also ends with Cassian escaping the prison, and the whole prison actually undergoing a massive break, which is a really fucking intense scene overall. When all the prisoners finally make the break and are like, it's now or never. Because they find out that one of the other floors all got fried.
The whole floor.
Yeah, they had an entire floor get fried and nobody knows what happened. When they find out all the rumors, they are talking and starting to think, we need to make a move now. Yep. If we make the play, we could 100% overwhelm them.
The rumor come out.
It's even wilder because the whole... Well, I don't remember the exact wording in the speech. The speech that Andy Serkis's character gives is fucking insane. It is one of the better like uplifting rebel speeches to kind of pop up in this series. There's a few. There is definitely a few of those that pop up. Because there's his speech. There's the one at the big finale when the citizens of Ferox all come together in a big ceremony to honor Cassian's mother, Marva, who has passed away of natural causes. She has died of old age while Cassian was away, and while Cassian's trying to like keep himself together, he does come back to Ferox after a certain point, and he tries to and during the whole event, there's a whole speech that she recorded in advance that basically read as fuck the Empire, which almost ended up being part of her speech.
Yeah, real close.
Like, I'm not even joking. They had an uncut version. They had a deleted scene that somebody leaked out where in the original speech, where instead of stop the Empire, it was gonna be fuck the Empire.
Would have gone hard, dude.
That also would have been the official first ever F-bomb dropped in Star Wars.
Yes.
Because while Disney has been accelerating the use of actual real-world swearing in Star Wars, the F-bomb still has never made its official appearance yet.
Right, dank Ferric, dude.
Everything. But her speech is another one I think that pops up, and obviously there's a number of them that pop up in season 2. Like, there's plenty of those inspiring rebel speeches, but of course we reach the end and the whole Ferox rebellion happens. Fucking madness is going on in the streets as people are being shot, people are beating down Imperials. There's like Dedra even gets fucking caught in the mix of it, because during the whole thing Cassian manages to save Bix using the chaos of the scene as a distraction. And Luthen's even there like, maybe I should come in here and stop this. Then he's just like, nope, they've definitely got it handled. Time to leave. But during that whole sequence, it's Dedra, I think, gets caught as she's trying to escape with her Imperial escort. They gun the escort down, they capture her, and they start beating her and trying to attack her. And it's only because of Cyril and his corporate sector buddy that they're actually able to save her. And the only reason she gets to live is because Cyril, who she had dismissed as a fucking wackadoo,
yeah,
comes to her rescue.
I mean,
because
he is kind of a wackadoo.
I mean, he is a bit of a wackadoo, but he's our wackadoo. He's our wackadoo. They end up getting through that whole mess. So a lot of the key members escape. So the guys we'll see in season 2, Cassian, Luthen, Bix, Wilmon, all of them are characters who managed to escape. The B2 is also able to make it out with them, so they get the droid. There's like two or three others who managed to escape with them, but Cassian obviously does not go directly with them. He leaves with Luthen, having smuggled aboard the Fondor. And that's kind of where that season ends, as we're also shown in like some of the side bits with Mon Mothma. She's dealing with her own nonsense and having to get more funding through, and unable to find really reliable channels without leaning on one of her old friends, Tay Kolma, who leads him to another bigwig from Chandrila, Davos Golden, who is also a big kind of that becomes a big ball of wax through season 2. So yeah. Yep. Obviously that's season 1, but we get to season 2 now, and season 2, there's, like I said, I won't go through a lot of the first 3 episodes because most of it we covered in our own segment already. So to kind of brush over that one a good bit, we're 1 year after the events of the Ferrix Rebellion. Everyone's kind of gone their separate ways for a bit, though the Ferrix group have kind of become their own sort of rebel cell.
Yep.
You've got one group who's hiding out on... You got Bix, Wilmont, B2, and the others who are hiding out on a Agra world, and then after that you've got Cassian, who is actively working as an agent for Luthen, and we see him on Sinar, where he is either going a mission to steal a new TIE fighter prototype. What we later discover is the TIE Avenger, one of the fucking coolest advanced TIE models ever.
Yep. It's really fucking cool.
As far as like superiority fighters for TIEs go, it is definitely fucking up there. But we also get an update on Cyril and Dedra at this point, because Cyril and Dedra have actually become a thing. They're dating and I guess engaged, I imagine.
I would think so, but I don't know.
I have no idea. I know they are at the very least living together, so.
Yep. They do be fucking.
They do, in fact, be fucking, but they make sure the lights go off when they do.
Oh, that sucks. Oh, it sucks. It's so funny.
We're thrown in with a bunch of other... There's a whole bunch of other stuff that occurs. There's the whole bit with Luthen and Mon Mothma on Chandrila, because Mon Mothma's daughter is getting married to Skulden's son, where that's just kind of a fuss or cluck marriage.
Yep.
And again, very much was expecting a Game of Thrones level fucking nonsense where everything was about to go tits up in that scene.
It was about to be real bad.
It felt like it, but no, all the nonsense went on the Agra world when the Empire showed up.
Yep.
So
also,
real
bad.
We're not gonna go into a lot of that because, again, we've already talked about it, and there is some fuck shit that happens there.
Yep.
So we're just gonna leave that one alone, and we get into the parts that I think are some of the best of this series, and that being the whole Gorman storyline,
which is pretty dope.
So again, we skip ahead another year, and we're shown Bix waking up in a apartment in some big city, which we later learn they are on Coruscant, which is wild that they've made it that deep into the core. She goes into a room and finds the doctor dude, the crazy fucking doctor who basically scrambled her brain when they were interrogating her.
Yep.
They show she is having these hallucinations about him there, and Cassian appears behind her, trying to get her to like calm the fuck down, because she's been dealing with this PTSD for a while. And obviously the way she's been getting through it is through this sort of drug, I guess. I don't know what exactly it is. They don't ever fucking say what it is. All we know is apparently it's something to help her deal with the fucking nightmares.
It's hard drugs.
It's very much some kind of hard drug. I don't know what the fuck it is, but
I'm glad they never explain it.
Yeah, because when you find out what those drugs in Star Wars actually do, you realize the problem.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nonsense that comes into Star Wars drugs.
Yeah.
We learned that in the Quinlan episode. Glitterill's a hell of a drug.
Fuck your couch, Dooku. Fuck your couch.
Oh my god. But there's obviously the whole bit we're also shown what's been going on with Cyril, who at first we're led to believe that he and Dedra have separated and he's off living on Gorman, overseeing the logistics office out there. What we later learn, however, throughout this episode, is that he has been working with ISB to basically act as the plant to spark the rebels in that region.
Yep.
And we're also introduced to a bunch of the other Gorman leaders and the members of the Gorman Front, essentially is what they've called it.
Yeah. They're very French.
Very French. From what I understand, the whole region is supposed to be based on like the Alps region of Europe, that whole like border area between Germany, Italy, and France.
Switzerland.
Kind of just Switzerland, I guess.
Are you telling me that the people wearing berets and speaking in Star Wars French are actually Swiss?
I mean, when you think about what their fucking craft is, like they're fucking spider silk farmers.
Fucking gross.
Which is even wilder to think about, that's their fucking trade, is they use these fucking crazy spiders as a source of fucking farming.
Yeah. Well, okay, the way they explain it is the spiders don't...
fucking plantations where they've established these silk farms.
The way they explain it is the spiders don't eat, they don't sleep. All they do is spin webs. And it's not like they spin the webs to catch food, because they don't eat. So they just spin webs. And they're like, hey, we could do all sorts of stuff with these gross, weird spiders.
I mean, I guess it fucking makes some really nice fabric because it's their primary export.
Yeah. It better make some good fabric.
Like, fucking main trade export. It's a lot of fabric sellers, because it's apparently a big thing But we're also we're kind of shown a lot of the bits of the Gorman front building up throughout these first 2 episodes of the second arc. Because we're also shown that Cassian and Bix are kind of working with Luthen together now. Like, Bix is an agent, Cassian's an agent, and they're both trying to live this almost double life together as rebel spies. Because they live in this apartment safe house that Luthen gave them, and Bix obviously is wanting a actual life, but is also willing to still work with the rebels and Luthen. But Cassian's the one who is just kind of like, his priority is Bix. Like, he's looking to keep Bix safe, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Because he's very, very overprotective of her throughout the entire thing. They are also very much in very deep shit when it comes to Luthen's operations, because we also find out that Scolded got sold a piece of art from Luthen and them, and apparently he has an art show coming up, and he found out that one of his pieces was a forgery, and now he's kind of worried about all of the pieces in his display.
Yep. As you should be.
And because they have one of those pieces that has a listening device on it, they're getting worried, because now they're starting to, as Luthen says, drowning in their web of lies. Their webbed array of lies and deceit has finally started to cause them to drown, being overwhelmed by everything. And of course, while this is happening, Cassian is sent on a mission to Gorman, because Cassian is eventually given a task to check out and inspect the Gorman front. Because Luthen believes that, look, if we can get people like we can get the Gorman on our side, dude, Gorman would be a fucking masterpiece for us in the rebellion. And we come to find out later that Cassian ends up working with he works with him on this, and he goes to meet with the leadership. They go out to inspect everything, and he's like, no, you guys are not ready at this point. There's nothing you can do at this point.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, what are we supposed to do? Just lie down and take it? And like, just leave. Don't stay here. There's nothing else you can do. You've waited too long to do anything. You've let them dig in.
Yeah.
But of course,
you let them build a huge armory.
You literally let them build a fortress where they have been establishing their foothold in the planet.
Yeah, y'all done fucked up.
But of course, Luthen is not satisfied with the idea that the Gorman aren't going to be able to handle it. So you know who he sends after Andor? He sends Val!
Yep.
Val is then sent off, and not only is she out there, but Cinta makes her second appearance in the entire series.
Yep.
The entire season at this point. Because she makes one other appearance in the season, and it's when she basically takes Takoma away to, I guess, kill him. She poses as the speeder driver for him after the wedding, and I guess she kills Takoma because he's never heard from again, and I'm pretty sure that even Mon Mothma believes that he was offed. Because he's a liability in Luthen's eyes.
A huge liability.
But they work off a lot. They get through that whole mess, and obviously another piece we're shown is Mon Mothma's disdain for Imperial leadership, as during the whole bit with Skolden's party, we get a scene with Mothma and Krennic are talking together during the event, and
just being absolute bastards to each other. They're so mean to each other, but it's all polite, and it's the most uncomfortable shit.
But the entire time they're doing this, we're also seeing more of Director Young was the ISB plant for the rebels.
Yep.
He's working with Clea, Luthen's assistant, who definitely we're gonna unpack that when we get there. We're gonna unpack that one because that is that is a package right there.
Broken one.
Very broken, but we get to see a lot of we get to see the whole scene of Skolden and all of them basically distracted while Clea and Young are working to remove the listening device, and Clea's realized that it's jammed, so they're having to work even harder to remove it. What they find when she's having to pull us out, she's literally ripping open her hand to pull this damn thing out.
Yep.
Like, you could see the, like, trails of blood dripping from her hand trying to pull this damn thing out. She does eventually get it out. Another thing that we're also, I think I skipped over this beforehand. Another thing we're shown is they also recast Bail Organa for this series.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't think the guy does a bad job, but it's
it's weird.
It's not Bail. It's not
that
Bail.
Actor is fantastic.
He's an amazing actor.
That is a great actor. However,
it's not.
They switched him up in between seasons, and now it's weird.
I mean, he wasn't in season 1. Bail Organa wasn't in season 1.
I meant like they switched him up from the movies to the show.
Yeah, because he was obviously we had a different guy in there. I don't remember Bail Organa's original actor, but I know they had him as the original actor beforehand, and visually it's very jarring. I think he does a good performance, but it's a visually jarring difference.
Yeah. I think it's because they didn't want to spend
I think it was
Bail Organa money.
Tony made a comment about this before the episode actually dropped. He made a comment like, we tried to get as many people from that one scene of Rogue One together, and he put a picture up of the meeting of all the councilmen for the rebellion on Yavin. Mm-hmm. And obviously Bail Organa was one of the people there, but we obviously couldn't, I guess he couldn't actually get the guy who played Bail for that one. Because 90%, because I mean, he was in Kenobi.
Yeah.
He was in Kenobi, so I don't know why he didn't manage to get pulled in for, I don't know what the deal was when they couldn't get him in for Andor. I thought that would have been an amazing fucking scene for him.
Oh, yeah.
But, I don't know. I guess he was busy with other stuff. I don't know.
It's the way the cookie crumbles.
But it was unfortunate. That was one of the other, very jarring differences with this one, which... Speaking of jarring, the way Val handles dealing with the Gorman front versus Cassian, who at first just kind of glances him over, essentially, and then fucks off telling him, no, I can't help you.
Yeah.
Val comes in with Cinta, and both of them start laying down all of this fucking groundwork to basically, fuck this. You guys are gonna start doing things, and if you disobey any of the shit we tell you, there will be consequences. They covered Iron Fisted to get them into action, essentially.
Yeah.
There's a very clear difference in how those jobs are handled. Which I think is interesting, even though the result ends up pretty much the same as I imagine it would have. Because while the whole event is going on, and we learn later that Cyril has been in contact with the Gorman Front as an ISB plant, he is also working with... He also kind of starts to... I almost want to say he starts leaning into the ideals of the people of Gorman. He kind of starts viewing them as, like, not in the wrong here. Even though at first he's like, yeah, no, like, this very much, I'm here to do my job.
Yeah.
He gets his work done, and he ends up watching the first actual hit on one of the transports. Because he orchestrates it so the transport flow is basically organized the same. So that they're able to easily read the transport runs. So they steal a whole shipment of weapons from one of these unregistered transports. And they get away with a number of weapons. Shockingly enough, they were able to get away with almost that entire load. Now, if it weren't for that one fucking fat fuck who rolled up to what I believe in, I think this is probably the one scene that justifiably was just, why did this happen? Because this dude, who very clearly was like all against the Empire and shit, rolls up seeing what they're doing. Because he's one of the like most vocal dudes during that like council meeting. During the council meeting in the first episode of this arc. He is very clearly against the Empire in every way. He very clearly is the one you think would be the extreme element. But he rolls up, and the other part that happens is one of the Gorman dudes pulls out a fucking blaster, despite all of them being told, none of you should be given a blaster.
Yeah,
none of you should have a weapon except for me and Cinta. That is what Val told them. None of you will need a weapon. None of you should have a weapon. Me and Cinta will be the only two with weapons, so that we are able to defend you if everything goes to hell. We're able to cover you so that you can get away with the weapons. But Lord behold, dumbass pulls out a gun and freaking tries to threaten the dude, despite the fact that I'm 90% certain he just would have been extra muscle for them.
Yeah, he would have loved to help.
But he very clearly just rolls up. It is just... It's one of the most baffling scenes to me in that one. Because I know... Because with all the context added to that is like... This man very clearly would have been, like... out here to help. But then dumbass over here whips out a blaster, which he never should have had.
Yup.
He pulls the blaster on him, threatens the dude, and in the midst of a scuffle, the blaster goes off. At that point, Cyril calls shots fired because he's watching the entire thing go down. He calls shots fired, and they make the call to call in security. At this point, everybody is now alerted, and we come to find out that, well, nobody else got hurt. Cinta's dead.
Yep. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. The scene where, like, yes, we're actually super still in love, and we're still really good for, like, good, you know, like, we're good. And we still love each other very much. Yes, we're gonna try and get back together. Fuck!
Well, that lasted long.
Damn! It's almost like you threw up a death flag immediately.
Damn.
That was, here's the thing. The second they were like reconciling, I'm like, one of them dies. And the next episode, one of them is dead.
Turns out we didn't have to wait that long.
Yep. Because it was so crazy. Because I'm watching it going, Like they didn't even have this much like. I don't
They don't
remember.
have
I don't
more
remember the
fucking
other chick from the first season at all.
Yeah, Cinta just doesn't have any presence in this series. So in the first place, it's like, if they're about to pull her back in, I could see this being where they do it. But
Yeah.
then that whole fucking scene happens. And again,
Yeah.
it's probably the one scene of this entire series that really throws me as like, why did this even happen?
Because they needed character development.
I could retrospectively look back on the entire season. That's the one scene that is just, why?
Yeah, it's the one scene in all of Andor where I'm looking at going, why was that a thing? And the only like answer I can come up with is they needed character development.
Rip Bozo.
Rip Bozo. Rest in peace.
Like,
Ripperoni, dude.
I think that first arc also ends phenomenal, which is even funnier because the way that whole like set of episodes ends is actually better to me because of what happens at the end, where we see this what appears to be a unopened, unfinished complex building, and there's this dude walking through. We find out it's the scientist dude who we saw in a lot of Bix's Nightmares and was in season 1.
Yep.
Dude's walking through the complex, rolls up into a fucking office, and sets down this fucking parfait or whatever. Goes to set everything up, comes to be fucking, like, gets to be restrained because Bix shows up out of nowhere, binds him up in the chair, and she starts setting up everything. Like, who are you? Do I know you? And she sets up the entire thing, gags him up, and basically walks out like, don't worry, it'll just feel like forever, which is the exact same line he hit her with when he turned on the machine. And she leaves him there to die, essentially. Killed by his own fucking torture device.
Yep.
And as they're walking out, there's one Imperial, as her and Cassie both start walking out, she's walking out of the complex, this one security dude walks up and like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. Bam!
Just
fucking
done.
Zero hesitation.
Done.
They both walk out. She meets up with Cassian outside, and one of the hardest walk-off scenes in Star Wars, where they blow up the fucking complex. That just... It was a completely unnecessary bit, but it was so fucking good.
It was really good.
Because that gave that closure that Bix has been looking for, and it also... Because it was a official mission that they got from Luthen, because they saw the little beacon that they were getting to be like, oh, he wants us again.
Yep.
And they get to do that as like, okay, Luthen very clearly, I guess, just, he's not that awful a person. He's still awful, but
he's still an ass, but not as bad.
He's still an absolute monster, but... the next little arc that pops up, and this is, I think, the one that gets the most intense of this entire season. So again, we're not even getting a real big skip at this point. They reach the point where the Gorman front has started to really boil over. Everything on Gorman is coming to a head, and it's about to get bad.
Yeah, it's not great.
To the point even Cyril is seeing all this and is kind of like, at first he's kind of just taking it in stride because he's finally gotten to a position of finally got into a position of authority. He feels like he's in the middle of doing the right thing, but there's something that's eating at him still. And he's not quite sure why. He does eventually. We also, another bit that I actually forgot about in the last one is we're actually given a bit of old Star Wars, like other Star Wars media that is mentioned in this, with Cassian's bit when he goes to Gorman the first time. Because Cassian talks with this bellhop boy from the hotel in Gorman, and he tells him about the whole story of when Tarkin tried to land his cruiser on Gorman initially and killed over 500 Gorman civilians, crushing them under his cruiser.
Just mushed those dudes down.
Crushed them right in the middle of the plaza where they were overlooking from the hotel room.
Turned them into space pizza.
But Cassian kind of sympathizes with him a lot, and he kind of makes a friend and ally there, which is even better when he comes back later, because in the later parts of this arc we're shown that I think the other part I missed from the arc was the whole bit with Saw Gerrera. I had completely brushed over Saw's bit in that last arc.
That's fine. It's fine.
Because his is pretty much an extra piece in that whole. His is like the minorest of B plots throughout that one, but it also goes into what's going on with Will at this point.
True.
Because Will is working with Saw Gerrera in that whole bit. And initially he's there to like provide them with the device and the instruction on how to use it so that they can be stealing Rhydonium, which is in Star Wars a very valuable fuel source. Which comes in really strong for a part later, but we'll get into that. We're about to get into it actually, because when Will is told essentially that, yeah, you're not leaving, you're gonna help us, and you're gonna teach one of our guys how to do this, and then you both are going to do this job for us.
Yep.
Otherwise, I could just kill you, and we'd be done with it that way. But we come to find out throughout that whole thing, while Will's trying to teach the dude, that the dude was an Imperial plant. Which is wild, because Will is taken completely off guard by how Saw was able to even figure that out.
Yeah.
Which even wilder for me. Also, the whole bit with Saw also establishes one other thing that is revealed through the sequel trilogy, I guess. We now understand why the rebellion ended up having a base on Dakar, because Saw made a base on Dakar.
Yep. Like a madman.
He made a whole base there, and then it just did not land anywhere it should have. But it just, we get to see the full descent of Saw Gerrera in this one. Yep. Like, this is where we'll really show where this man has just plummeted off the deep end. Because they go to hit this fueling station, and while they're pumping it out, he pulls the fucking valve open and starts huffing Rhydonium.
Yep. That's why. So if you ever wondered
why he has that fucking breath mask, that's why.
I'm thinking that breath mask is actually just full of Rhydonium, and he just takes a whiff of it every now and then.
I mean, I would say that's the case, but I'm pretty sure there would be no reason for him to pull the thing off during the one scene in Rogue One if that were the case. I'm pretty sure that is the equivalent of a life support system for him.
Well, he had to pull it off because you still need air. And not just huffing pure Rhydonium.
He even goes into like what the effects of inhaling raw Rhydonium.
It's awful.
It's
awful.
Unironically, though, he does give us one of the hardest lines in Star Wars when he's talking to Wilmot, like hyping him up, like, "We're the fuel. We're the spark that ignites when things get too hot."
I thought for sure you were about to say, "We're the fuel, we're the fire, we're the Dabba Jabba Za."
Like, it's a fucking insane line, and by all accounts, it's fucking mad rambling, but it does insanely go hard.
Oh yeah.
The whole little speech he gives him, the little line he gives him there, the whole fucking pep up is insane rambling, but it still goes hard. Because it does have some intense lines to it. Like, it's fucking insane. Literally and figuratively. Really, really pushes the envelope on Saw's descent into madness. So, all in all, though, that's pretty much all Saw, all that bit there. The next arc, obviously, like I mentioned, we're back on the Gorman front where everything has accelerated beyond repair at this point.
Yeah.
And we also find that Cassian and the Rebel Alliance have officially made Yavin 4 their home.
Hooray!
It only took them 2 years, but they did.
Yeah, they sure did.
But we're shown later that Cassian and them are still working with, like, they're with the actual Rebel Alliance now. But at this point, Luthen has now become, like, Saw, an outlying extremist.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a crazy guy.
But Will comes in, and we're seeing him in action here, because we're finding out that Will finally got to return from his time with Saw, I guess.
Yeah, honestly, kind of worse for the wear, or better for the wear.
Yeah, he unironically came out better, which is
insane, considering the first thing Saw did was expose him to Rhydonium. Kidnap him and then expose him to Rhydonium.
Kidnap him, force him to train this dude he was just gonna kill anyway.
Yep.
And then then hyped him up and exposed him to raw Rhydonium.
What a weirdo.
Fucking Saw, man. I don't know what to even make of him at that point. I genuinely don't. But at this point, we're also kind of establishing that Cassian and Bix have become a, like, full couple at this point. Like, they're together in every fucking manner, because they're both working for the rebellion in full.
Yep.
And at this point, Cassian has become an officer with the rebellion, as he's commonly referred to as Captain Andor.
Oh, Captain Andor. My captain.
They get through this whole bit, and we're shown a lot of what the establishment on Yavin is actually like. What the outside the temple's living is like. We're seeing, like, Cassian's little hut in the jungle.
Nice hut in the jungle, though.
It is a nice little hut.
Like, holy shit. For a rebel captain, dude's got a nice little jungle mansion.
Well, nice little fucking bungalow. But we're also shown that the rebels have had fucking force healers this whole time, I guess.
Crazy.
They're not actually Jedi, but I guess they were the ones who didn't make the cut. Because that probably makes a little more sense, is that the one lady we're shown who is a force healer who's working with the rebels. Apparently she is, I guess she was one of the Jedi who didn't make it through their training, but obviously they still have their abilities.
Yep.
So they ended up just kind of serving a role as like the support, one of the various like support corps for the Jedi. Which is why I guess she managed to escape Order 66 the way that went.
Yeah.
Obviously
she wasn't a
fucking
real
force
Jedi.
sensitive, but she wasn't a Jedi.
Yeah.
She also relays this whole fucking vision of like, that man is a messenger. Like, yeah, he kind of delivers the Death Star plans. Good on you for foresight.
Yep. That man in the back's not fucking real.
But it's even funnier because Cassian is the type of person like Han Solo who doesn't fucking believe in all that fucking Force nonsense.
It's a hokey religion.
His mother, Marva, was the type of person who found all the Force nonsense just a bunch of mystical mumbo jumbo. So when he's actually fucking healed by her, he's still left fucking baffled. They're like, what the fuck was this? Witchcraft.
This isn't real. This isn't real.
Witchcraft.
You obviously like dosed me with something while you were standing there.
But it's even funnier because Biggs the entire time has tried to get him to see, like, this is something that we've been working to protect. Like, these are the people we're trying to help here. Like, there's obviously a bigger thing for you. Even she said it.
Yeah.
And even Cassian's this whole time just like, look, I just want us to fucking find I want us to find a happy life together where we don't have to worry about this bullshit.
That's all I want. But
of course, Will shows up and they get a message that Luthen has a job for him. And at this point, Luthen is pretty much regarded as like, yeah, they don't like him too much. So when Will and Cassian take the U-Wing, General Draven is the rebel officer.
Yeah. Yep.
He basically is like, look, I'll let you go this time, but you gotta remember what our fucking protocols are when you get back here. You gotta remember what we're about when you get back. Because we're gonna have words about this. But I'm gonna let you off the hook this time. You get a pass now, but
you get a pass now. And
I can't keep fucking covering you when Luthen calls you to do some bullshit.
We'll be cool when you come back, so long as you're cool.
Well, they end up going out, and what we find out is they're back on the Gorman front, and yeah, it's
shit's bad.
It's a powder keg out there.
Shit's bad.
Because now you've got these fucking essentially blue bloods of the Empire coming in, these fresh meat from the Imperial Army right off the fucking training racks, coming out to this fucking hellish fucking area. Very dangerous powder keg.
Yeah, wouldn't call them blue bloods. They're definitely green, though.
They're definitely green.
They're like raw recruits.
I
think one of the characters even mentions, like, those are children.
We're bringing
like, these are kids.
Children to battle now. Like, it's... And we come to find out that there was a reason for that, which comes up in the next bit, because while all the nonsense on Gorman is going on, Mon Mothma and the Senate are losing their shit over this.
All the silly Gorman nonsense.
Because one thing I think I also glossed over before was that Mon Mothma has been trying to push the Senate to recognize that we need to acknowledge what's going on Gorman and stop it. But all the other senators and all these other political officials are like, no, we can't do that. I don't want to get my fucking head axed, thank you very much. I am afraid to lose my position in my life because the Empire saw me cooperating against them. And it's shown here because the like I said, Gorman's a powder keg right now. It's pretty much ready to pop.
Yeah.
And when Cassian and them arrive at the end of towards the end of the episode, Cassian goes back to the hotel and he sees that the bellboy that was there, the bellhop boy,
got a promotion.
He got a promotion. He's like front lead on the hotel, and he comes in and tells him, he's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I got you covered. I never logged you out when you left.
That's right.
Because he remembered him, because he opened up to him and they connected for a moment there. So he made himself a little ally.
It wasn't he didn't log him out when he left. It's he never put him in this system for the second visit. So that way they didn't have to hand over everything. Yeah. So they didn't have to hand over his name to the Empire. I was like, hey, don't worry. I never put you in the system this time. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Thanks. Dude, that dude lobs a grenade. That dude's awesome.
Yeah, he fucking goes out like a fucking champion.
Did he die?
Yeah, he died. He blew up in the fucking hotel.
Oh.
Because I think they threw a grenade back in there at him after he threw that one in.
Oh, that's rough. I don't remember that. So I thought the guy lived, and I was like, that dude's dope.
No, they definitely killed him.
Oh, poor bastard. Deserves
I remember
better.
the one scene later, but we're about to get to that because everything is coming to a head here. So we get to the next episode at this point, and everyone is now set. The key pieces are together, and it's time for the game to be played. The Gorman effort is about to come to a head, and the Gormans, who are now marching through the streets to the center plaza where the Empire has opened it up, believing that they are going to be here to help out. They're given the chance to actually enter the plaza and represent here. Yep. Everyone's thinking that this is going to be a massive, violent bloodbath. But they come marching in, and obviously during the march, Cyril enters in through the march. And one of the big leaders of Gorman, Carol Rylands, I think is the guy's name. The old dude who they're kind of like who's kind of leading the Gorman front. He's realizing that everything is falling apart, and he now realizes that this is not going to work.
Yep.
What we're walking into is not going to be what we think it is. You go in there to fight, you will all die. But he goes in there, he is like trying to reason with the mob, essentially, to like stop, just don't let the Empire engage us. But he meets Cyril out there, and he confronts him and demands to know what the Empire really is doing here on Gorman. Because he's found out that Cyril at this point it's exposed that Cyril is a spy. He was a ISB plant, and it's at this point that the cracks in Cyril's ideology have started to form. Cyril's own ideals have been crumbling. He comes to understand that that the Empire is not in the right here. Despite what Dedra has told him, the Empire is not here to... It's not simply about the rebels. They are aware. He's aware. Rylands is aware that there is more to what's going on Gorman than what the Empire has revealed. and he goes and confronts Dedra about this beforehand.
Oh, and that is such a good scene.
Fucking scene, and it's glorious.
It's so good.
I think that's the scene to me that really represents Cyril's character the best. That is, I think, where our neat and tidy little goober ends up finding his mark and is like, no, there needs to be something that happens here.
Yeah.
We are beyond the envelope of just passing on. I need answers and I need them now. Because even he's unsure what's going on. Because Rylands hits him with the whole thing of like, the Empire is mining something here. What are they looking for? And Cyril throws him off and he goes to confront Dedra later and confronts her alone in the office in the complex. And he straight up is like, tell me what we're doing here. And she just and she's like, we're here to stop we're here to stop any we're here to stop the outside agitators and all that. And so like, no, we are here mining something. And he gets really fucking aggressive.
Oh yeah.
Like, he is on the verge of breaking this woman like a twig. If he didn't have the self-restraint that he did, I guarantee he probably would have killed her. Which, for her, might have been a fate better than what she ended up with.
Yeah.
Because he gets the truth, and she's like, we're going to be victors. We will come back as heroes. Our mission succeeded. All of this is going to go off without a hitch. We won is basically all she tells him.
Yep.
And of course, even despite all this, he just is not having it. So he runs off into the crowd to try to like get them to break off, essentially, which the crowd at this point is all gathered. And where a cold standoff has begun, they all start singing, I guess, the planet's anthem, I guess.
Yeah, cringe.
I mean, it's kind of an intense scene, but it's also kind of like...
But their anthem sucks.
It's not great.
It's not a good one. Their anthem sucks.
Not great, but then again, the riot dudes who start, army dudes who start moving through are completely unaware of what is about to hit them.
Yep.
Because not only is Andor getting ready to pop, he's here to kill Dedra, essentially, is what he and Will were there for. They're here to kill Dedra. Because Will's been helping the Gorman front for Luthen and Val. Because Val's fucked off at this point and has joined the Rebel Alliance fully. She's an officer with them, which we find out towards the end. She's been working for the Rebel Alliance as an officer there. We come to find out that Will, while also still a rebel, while part of the Rebel Alliance, he has been working with Luthen as well. And they're trying to make sure that the Gorman front is successful. Unfortunately, as the group are being cleared, the army dudes are trying to get toward. They're being sent out essentially to go find Cyril, I think was what they were sent out to do. They were given the job to go out, clear a path, and go try to find Cyril Karn. Because he storms off into the crowd. And Dedra gives him the order, find him, bring him back here. Because despite everything that he did and everything that's going on, she still wants him safe, I guess.
I think it's more along the lines of he knows too much.
I don't know. Based on what happens at the end there, I don't think that's entirely the case.
Not entirely, but that is definitely a part of it.
I'm sure that's a part of it, but I don't think that was the biggest reason. But she gives them the order, and they're sent out in the crowd. During that whole thing, they've got an Imperial sniper up there on the fucking rafters of the building. And
in the open, where all they had to do was look up and they could see him. He was in a bad spot.
He was pretty much in a spot where any of them could have seen him, but he was also in a very awkward position where I think only Cassian spotted him.
Yeah.
Which is even wilder, but then again, that's just main character hindsight.
True. That's just Cassian being Cassian and
actually being self-aware.
You can explain it away as like, oh, he was trained to look for that kind of shit. You're like, yeah, I guess.
I mean, he's actively trying to snipe Dedra himself, so I mean, he's out there trying to fucking snipe Dedra himself. He's got to watch for guys up top who could pop him and see him. But of course, he doesn't.
I like that he saw the storm. Like I liked when he was in the hotel the second time.
Yeah, he
heard the stormtroopers. He's like, "Hold on, I got a little fucking mirror on the telescopic
the fucking telescopic spyglass thing."
Yeah, it's so dumb. I loved it.
But he's never able to get that shot to off Dedra the entire time. But of course, he doesn't ever really get much of a chance to do anything that fight. It's not... Because one of the army dudes ends up getting shot by the sniper that they planted to make it look like the Gormans killed him.
Yep.
And the entire time they're... And it's at that point the powder keg is lit. The entire Gorman front are now sitting in a kill box. And a kill box it sure as shit is.
Yeah.
Oh. If I have to mark up probably one of the like 5 darkest scenes in Star Wars, that one's up there. That one.
Yeah.
That one's.
It's almost like you witnessed an actual massacre.
It's fucking insane.
As opposed to, Alderaan blowing up, where you didn't see the people, you just saw the planet explode. You're like, okay.
I mean, like,
That's
Order
crazy.
66 didn't even carry that kind of weight. It's crazy.
No. Order 66 was carried out in, 10 short little clips?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think just about 10. I think about 8 clips.
Yeah.
It was... Because... Anakin's march on the temple, Obi-Wan, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Aayla Secura, Plo Koon, Adi Gallia's brother, I think, was the other one. I don't remember who the other one was that got killed there in the...
Adi Gallia's brother. Literal who?
I don't know. I don't remember what his name was. I know he was the new commander. He was the new Jedi General for the 91st. So after Adi Gallia was killed by Maul, somebody else took over the 91st. And I know that's who that was. I think it was like her brother or something.
Mm-hmm.
But there was that one, and then the temple scene, so 7. There were 7 actual clips of it, not counting Yoda's sequence where he just offs Gree and the one Commander Gree and the one other clone trooper.
Yeah.
If we don't count Yoda's sequence, it is 7. Otherwise, it is 8.
Yeah. And again, they're short clips.
Technically 8 if you actually count
apiece.
the whole scene with Anakin entering the council chamber to hunt the younglings. Like, that, him appearing there to threaten the younglings essentially is pretty much that would make 8, but otherwise we'd have 9 if we count Yoda's scene.
Order 66 happened in
less than 10 scenes.
Yeah, and less than 10 scenes. Each scene was 10, 12
not
seconds
even
apiece.
Not even a full minute in each one.
No. No, I think that whole sequence took 2.5, 3 minutes to do.
Yeah.
And that's including him killing the younglings and everything. It was such a small part of the movie. Granted, it was a real pivotal part of the movie. But it was such a small part of the movie, you don't actually even get to like experience it.
That's pretty much the turning point and tone of that whole movie.
Yeah. So you don't really get to experience how it happened. Unlike this one, which it was like a 40-minute episode.
Dude, it's
and
a whole, like,
it never left
minutes.
the scene.
It's a whole 30 minutes, I think, just of that sequence.
Yeah, and it never actually like
the
left the scene.
Full massacre itself in the plaza. You also get not only do you have the full massacre in the plaza itself, but you also have the like the actual like fight afterwards, where they're running through the streets after well, it's at this point where everything really hits the fan, because for a while it's a minor firefight with some of the key members who are all slowly getting gunned down. Will and Cassian are trying to meet up throughout this whole fucking mess, and throughout the whole thing, old Cyril Card finds his target. After so long, he finally finds Andor, who is trying to who's getting ready to whack over everybody. He's trying to whack over fucking Dedra, and he fucking jumps him out of nowhere. It's just like, holy shit!
Cyril beats the bricks off of Andor. It's kind of crazy.
Dude, fucking Cassian, nothing. Can do literally nothing against this man. It's crazy.
Cyril had the strength of autism on his side.
Autistic hyperfixation power!
This is my superpower!
Feel the wrath of my hyperfixation!
Oh my god, dude, it was like he beats the absolute dog shit out of Andor.
And you know what the fucking hardest line of that whole fight when it all finishes is? Just before Cyril's about to kill him, Cassian just looks up to him and is like, "Who are you?"
Yeah. Cyril spends like the majority of like his adult life chasing this man down.
It's a good like 3 years.
For Andor to just be like, "Who the fuck are you?"
It's been like 3 to 4 years that he's actively hunting this man down. Only to find out, only to get that thrown in your face? Dude, that's salt in the wound. That's salt in the wound right there. And that's even worse for that.
You ruined my life! How could I do that? I wasn't even there.
It's even worse when you realize that that's the last line he hears before Carol Rylance pulls up and pops him.
Dude, like, that is the most I've seen anyone ever get got by a blaster. Holy shit.
He gets absolutely fucking domed.
Oh my god. Because normally you see people get domed like they're wearing a helmet or something. No, just boom, gun. Like, you fucking quick as shit. And the worst part is like, I'm watching this scene play and I go, I know Andor doesn't die here.
We know he doesn't die here, but
I know he doesn't die. This scene has the when like they start fighting. I'm like, oh man, oh dude, he's getting his ass kicked. This could be that can't be bad. He lives. Like
we know
the second I remembered that he lives, like all of the tension bled out of this scene.
I mean, it's one of those. It's like you know the tension's up. It's the same thing for like other stories, like. And one of the reasons why I can't really relate to any tension in Dragon Ball Super, like, I know where this story goes because this happens in between the end of Boo and the end of Z. Like, you can't fucking tell me that everything is not going to be okay afterwards. Like, I'm sorry, it's not how this works. It's
crazy how none of the Z Warriors are going to die in this tournament.
It's
not
crazy
a single one
how
of them.
nothing of value is lost.
Nothing happens. However, while nothing is happening, it's really fucking cool.
Everything is happening, however, none of it actually matters.
Okay,
that's the thing here. I think that changes that is like...
I want to say this scene is in Super, but I do not remember. Is there a scene where he fights like a big jester-looking dude? who's got 3 eyes?
I think that's
Is that Super?
Daima. I think that's Daima.
Okay.
Because I think
Because
that's
I'm
Goma.
Because I'm looking at that
and
and
the final fight with Goma.
okay, because there's this scene where he's like, "Yeah, this is what we call Super Saiyan 3," and then he like moves Super Saiyan 4, and I went, "This can't be Super."
No, that is.
He would have beat the absolute dog shit out of Boo. Like,
no, that is definitely Daima. Is that
okay? I'm looking at it going like, Boo wouldn't have had a fucking chance.
Daima made Super Saiyan 4 canon again.
Oh, dude, I'm so happy. That's my favorite Super Saiyan.
That was Toriyama's last nod, is his official rendition of Super Saiyan 4.
Oh my god, dude, Super Saiyan 4 was the coolest thing to ever come out of, like, the Saiyan transformation. It is so awesome.
It is really cool. Admittedly, it is probably one of my favorite, like, higher stage transformations. And to find out that Goku fucking made that transformation happen after his fight with Boo is crazy.
Yeah.
He acquired Super Saiyan 4 after his fight with Boo.
It's so dope.
But
man, I love Super Saiyan 4. It is the coolest thing.
That fight is also...
And back to Cyril getting domed.
Yeah, Cyril gets domed, and Carol Rylance and Will pull up. They manage to save Cassian, and they start fleeing for their fucking lives.
Yeah,
because at this point, KX droids are out and about. They have deployed the fucking security droids. It's time to go, because you literally watch Ryland's daughter get fucking thrown and her fucking skull and spine break. It's brutal.
Yeah. Dude, I'm surprised they didn't use more of those droids.
That's a fucking crazy factor that I just thought about. Like, imagine... Those fucking droids can throw you with that level of force and absolutely kill you just with the throw.
Yeah.
They're able to throw you with enough force that you just die.
They don't need guns. They just gotta fucking get you.
Dude, it's that makes those droids all the more intimidating. Like, it's fucking I mean, the fucking KX droids are still probably one of the most intimidating droids in Star Wars, in canon right now. They're easily one of the most intimidating.
What I want to know...
Second up is Dark Troopers, but that's just because Dark Troopers are cool.
Yeah. What I want to know is, because it's canon, how come they weren't used against the Rebel Alliance during the Galactic Civil War?
I'm guessing because they're specifically security droids.
Yeah, like you can't change their program to make them war droids.
Also because I mean, I think the only other time we really see them used like that is in one of the scenes in Season 2 of There's Season 3 of Mandalorian, I think. In Season 2 or Season 3, it may have also been Book of Boba Fett, because we were shown, like, the actual Night of 1,000 Tears, essentially.
Yeah.
Where the Empire is bombing Mandalore, and all the while out in the ruins and everything, there are KX droids deployed hunting down Mandalorian survivors.
Yeah. Like, why not use more of them?
I think they also use them in some... I know they're used in the Jedi games. They use as, like, their heavy enforcement unit in the Jedi games.
Where were they at the Battle of Hoth? Where were they at the Battle of Endor? Especially if they're security droids!
Well, that one
requires... You don't think they'd be sitting around on Endor?
Now, that one is because they weren't a concept of George Lucas's making. They were a concept of Tony Gilroy's making.
I know, but now, because you've made them canon, you have to explain away why they weren't there.
I'm guessing it's because they had enough units that they were just going... They had enough stormtroopers that they really didn't bother. Plus, I imagine it's another one of those, it's more costly to produce these droids than to just hire some throwaway soldiers who are willing to give up their lives that we can throw in mass droves.
Yes, but you're trying to defend a shield generator of the second super weapon you've made because the first one blew up. You think that'd be a top security priority?
Well, speaking of top security priorities, I guess it's time to also dive into that bit, because again, the KX droids are hunting down the everybody on Gorman, and that whole scene is getting even more fucked up because the whole final transmission of the Gorman front is that one's kind of a chilling moment in my opinion.
That one was like, ooh, like that got me. I was like, oh, it's bad. It's real bad out here all of a sudden.
Bad.
It went bad quick.
And then after that whole saying, the last bit of that arc is Cassian pulling up to Luthen's shop and meeting up with Clea, who is there with a last mission essentially, and he's like, "No, I'm done after this. I want nothing to do with this after this." You
forgot. They managed to kill a KX droid by hitting it with a truck.
There was a guy who rolled up in a fucking truck, ran the fucking hover truck, pulls up, slams into the droid, and they managed to haul it up, and Cassian decides, I'm taking a prize with me.
Yep, he takes the broken KX droid. And now, the guy who pulled up and rammed that droid, that was the guy who shot that lady.
Who shot Cinta, yeah.
Who shot that nobody.
Who shot girl number 1.
Girl number 2, come on.
No, Biggs has a bigger role in a lot of this. Come on now.
I wasn't even talking about Biggs. That's fucked up.
Look.
Oh, fuck, that's so funny. No, I was talking about, oh my god, now I can't remember her name. The cousin.
Val.
Val's
got way more of a presence than fucking Cinta does. You give her that fucking credit. She's not
girl
number 1.
She does, however, she did tie herself to girl number 2.
However, she is... No, it's girl number 1. Because girl number 2 is Ryland's daughter.
Yo. Who?
Exactly. The fucking Gorman leader's daughter.
Oh, yeah!
Who gets fucking yeeted by a KX droid.
She's a fucking nobody.
Went out like a fucking jobber.
Oh my god. Hey, it's still better than that one guy.
I don't think we can ever top him. No, he earned a special spot on our list.
He earned a special place in hell.
He earned a special place in hell. You know, I can't deny it, but I will say this. I love the guy's acting. The guy who did Boat's acting. I love his work. I hated that character so much. That whole bit ruined that fucking game for me.
Fair.
That is why Bodakuna earned a special spot on our fucking list. Go check out that fucking ranking list. We're gonna be doing another one next month.
Hell yeah, dude.
Well, we say the next
those ranking lists are some of the funniest and best things we've done.
Those are so good. Fucking fun. I love doing our fucking quarterly expansion to the fucking murder list.
Oh god. Hey, we'll have more to add on to now that Endor's done.
Yeah, we'll have a couple more because we're doing series next, so we're gonna have a fair few characters to add on to that one.
So good.
There's a lot of characters to add on to that one if we're gonna be doing series.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna split series up and do live action and then animated.
That would be the best idea.
Because then I don't have to worry about going back to rewatch I don't have to rewatch Resistance to find any of those, and also go rewatch both Rebels and Clone Wars to remember every key character death from those.
A lot of those are clones.
In Clone Wars, yes, but in Rebels,
a lot of them are clones.
In Rebels, there are more than that, but we'll be dealing with that when we get there. First up, I think we'll do the live action because live action is going to be an easier list that we'll just expand on as more shit pops up.
Yep.
animated, I think, is going to be a much easier list to clear. Well, Andor's going to be animated. Going to be a much longer list because there's so many fucking characters that just because of Clone Wars does this. Because of Clone Wars alone, there are enough characters to put in on the list as a whole fucking segment just for Clone Wars. That's the fucking craziest part to me. But yeah, no, Cassian takes the broken fucking KX droid after everything on Gorman is basically going to hell in a handbasket. And Cassian basically fucks off after he leaves the planet, and Will stays behind, crazy enough. Will decides to stay behind and help as many of the Gormans escape.
Good on him. It was needed.
It definitely was needed.
They had to get the fuck out of there.
And then we get to the next episode where now everything has really come to a head, because not only did Gorman become a massive powder keg, the Imperial Senate is now a basically standing powder keg.
Yup.
The kind of ending piece to also cover is discussing all the aftermath of the Gorman massacre. Obviously, Cyril's death hits because his mother finds out about the incident on Gorman and finds out through that her son has died. And that also racks fucking Dedra, which is another intense scene. Because at first I thought when I saw the trailer that scene meant Vader was going to make an appearance. The way she's like wrapping at her collar for her suit or whatever.
Yep.
You think that's Vader choking her. When you see it in the trailer, you think it's Vader choking her, but no, that's
just her freaking the fuck out.
It's her fucking losing it because she basically is fucked up beyond all repair. She fucked up, she lost the man she loved, and now she has to deal with all the fucking backlash. Because Gorman popped off as it should, but she is not happy about how any of it happened. And later, of course, we are shown, and Cassian makes it back to Coruscant. He is talking with Clea, who is telling him, like, all right, so you're gonna go in to deal with this one. You're gonna go do this one job. You have this level of clearance because you are going to be you're gonna be our freaking message holder for a Gorman. You are the sole survivor from Gorman. You are a reporter here to tell them about what happened. And you're like, no, I'm not doing anything else here. So he goes the fuck off. And only comes back later when he finds out that Luthen's whole web has officially crumbled down around him.
Yeah.
Because Luthen reveals what he's been doing to Mon Mothma, because now he's both trying to burn every bridge possible, but also trying to tie up every loose end. And revealing that not only has he been using Mon Mothma to push his agenda, that she's basically been obliviously helping him in doing everything that he's been doing. He also reveals that her assistant, was it Erskine? I think it was the guy's name.
Yes.
I think it was Erskine. I want to say that sounds right.
Man number one.
He was the dude that Luthen was talking to at the party, the wedding, that mentioned that he was actually part Gorman. His family had Gorman blood in it, and but he was originally from Naboo. And it was his whole deal was like he was originally from Naboo, but I believe his mother was Gorman. That's kind of like the first little nod that he has a tie to the Gorman massacre.
Yeah.
But he's but he reveals that he's been basically his in with Mon Mothma and all what she's doing, and that he's been helping to protect her essentially. Come to find out that all of this has been a lie, and that there's ISB listening devices in all these offices. They smashed the device that's in her office, and she's getting ready for what basically accounts as her last hurrah. Because she's preparing a speech after the Gorman senator is taken into custody because of the Gorman rebellion.
Yep.
He's taken into custody because of the actions of his people. And the entire time, he's losing it in the Senate floor. Like, they're dragging him off, and he's like, this is all going to be you. You're all next. It was my planet now, but when will it be? Someday, you'll be on the chopping block. He's fucking losing it on the floor there.
That's right. He's out there shouting, tomorrow!
You.
So fucking stupid.
So dumb. But at this point that Mon Mothma and Bail Organa are working on basically making their final call out of like, yeah, we need to start burning. We need to start getting ready to cut ties here. Everything has finally gone a little too rotten. So Mon Mothma essentially is preparing a big speech to call out the Empire and regard the actual incident on Gorman as what it was, because the Empire's trying to the Empire's paid off representatives are trying to make the Gorman massacre out as this was an affront against the Empire. We cannot stand this sort of treachery and rebellion from these lowly mid-rimmers.
Talking shit, kids.
These lowly barbarians. And Luthen is now calling up Cassian with a job, because Cassian is about to leave, but he gets hit up with a job. It's like, I have one final task for you. Do this for me, and I will give you whatever you're looking for. We'll be square. I don't need anything else from you because I can't do anything else at this point. The noose is tightening around my neck, and everyone's on edge here. So I'm getting ready to make my last hurrah too. So he gives him the task to clear up to basically work with, basically be the pilot who will take Mon Mothma from Coruscant after her speech. Because that's actually a tie-in to Rebels, funny enough, is Mon Mothma's speech against the Gorman massacre event, and her views on that and her call out against the Empire, basically forcing her under the gun as a target of the Empire, because she is now a publicly viewed rebel sympathizer and a voice of hope for those willing to stand against the rebellion, for those willing to stand with the rebellion against the Empire, rather. So they're getting ready to do everything fucking possible to cut off her speech, cut off the broadcast to everything. Because when she goes on, the newscasters are trying to cut off her speech and silence her, essentially. And they are failing.
Sure are.
Because guess what? All the newscasters are dead.
Oops.
But just as well, the team that Bail Organa has been organizing to basically take Mon Mothma to safety and get her to Yavin, there's an ISB plant in there. There's a undercover agent of the ISB who is working against them. And while it's only one, that's why Luthen enlists Cassian, is because he found out that Bale's team has been compromised. So he needs Cassian to be the one to get Mon Mothma out of there, as like his last debt paid to her. So they go through, she gives her speech, which honestly, that's probably one of the best of a lot of the like big political speeches for like Star Wars stuff from like Clone Wars or whatever. That one's definitely up there. Her speech against the Empire definitely hits hard.
Oh yeah.
It is a pretty fucking powerful one. I may not like Mon Mothma in a lot of ways. I don't really care for her character that highly, but even I gotta give a little bit of respect for that speech. She did hit really hard with that speech.
It was a top tier speech.
But we get through that whole piece, and she leaves there, and waiting outside is Cassian instead of the I think it was the actual broadcaster dude was leading a security team to cut off Mon Mothma, and they're given the wrong station for where her dock was gonna be. Like all the pods in the Senate, the Senate floor have a specific dock room to them. So they're led to the wrong dock when her speech ends. And that gives Cassian just the right window to get her, to try to start getting her out of there. And the first real crazy part is when they get to the floor and they meet Bale's team essentially, and Erskine shows up again, and he basically makes the call to Cassian, like, I don't recognize you. Who are you? And the lady that's on that team, who is the ISB plant, just full guts blazing, like, ISB, you're under arrest. To which at that point, the the other dude, who is actually one of Bail Organa's agents, is just like, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck is going on? This dude is like completely fucking fumbled at this point. And Erskine, it's at that point Erskine walks up and pops her over the head, which fucking floors Mon Mothma, because she's never fucking watched an ounce of bloodshed in her life.
Privileged life she had.
Very privileged. Of course, that's all coming down around her, so, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Only privileged for so long. Because she does have to watch that whole fucking scene happen. Because not only does that happen, and she witnesses that, they're walking out, and Cassian leads them outside. Her driver, her airspeeder driver, who is also at ISB plant, because they've been watching her like a fucking hawk with every asset available in every part of her life.
The plants are everywhere.
He comes up and sees them, and Cassie calls out to him like, hey, we found her. I'm like, who the heck are you? Bam! Cassie just zero chill pops the dude as he tries to fucking realize what's going on. And she's once again floored by that.
What was the line that Lucian told her?
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
It must be nice to not know.
Yeah. Well, she know now.
That's even funnier because that's like I don't think I could handle all of this. And Cassie's just like, welcome to the rebellion.
I don't know if I can do this. Tough shit.
Welcome to the rebellion.
Welcome to the family, son.
You all gotta make fucking hard choices. It is a hard knock life in these streets. But they end up meeting at the safe house afterward. They end up escaping and meeting at the safe house apartment, and Clea meets him there, and inside is Luthen's nowhere to be seen because I guess he's acted as a diversion for them.
Yeah.
He and Erskine have planned a diversion, and they Luthen shows up later, and he tells Cassian, they're like, you're not gonna be, I've got another team who's gonna meet up with Erskine. They're gonna deliver Mon Mothma to Yavin. I want you to head back ahead of me. But they meet up with him. He meets up with them at the apartment, and he sees Will there, who is badly injured after managing to escape with the girl he was getting with in the Gorman front.
Yep.
They both managed to escape that fucking hellhole, which fucking impressive feat on its own.
Yup.
And Cassian comes back to Yavin not only with his KX droid and the very badly damaged Will, who seriously, he got fucked up after that.
Yeah, it was bad.
They managed to get back to Yavin, and Cassian goes back to his hut preparing to leave. Like, he's done. He's out. He's going to leave. He's gonna go get Bix. Except Bix isn't there anymore.
Nope.
Because she realized that her staying there is a hindrance to him helping everybody else there. So pulling herself from the picture, she left a message and told him, you have to keep fighting. And when the fighting's all over, we'll find each other and we'll get to have that life that you were talking about.
Oh, if only she knew what we knew.
If only she knew. Dude, that one still hurts. That one,
yeah, that one.
It was like I mentioned when we started this, when we started talking about it. Rewatching Rogue One with the added context of Andor hits so much harder in a lot of those scenes. There's so much more added context when you rewatch that movie with the context from Andor. The context and knowledge of what all went down with him and everything that went on just accelerates the vibe and energy in that movie, and it makes it so much better. But of course, that's not simply where this all ends, because the end of this arc pretty much covers, the end of this arc closes pretty much with, the KX droid being woken up after Cassian realizes that Bix is gone. He's never, until this is all over, he's never gonna get to see her again. And now we get our best boy.
Yeah!
We get one of our best boy droids. Which his fucking awakening scene is just fucking great.
It's perfect. It is not baby time.
Hello. I am sorry if I offended you. Could you please remove that from my face? As he got blasters pointed at him. It's love Alan Tudyk's fucking role there. It's awesome. Dude. He does that character so fucking well.
Perfect. No notes.
No notes. No notes, all skill.
Alan Tudyk, anytime he plays a character in anything, no notes.
It's awesome.
Perfect actor.
Fucking amazing, man.
And apparently, he's actually like a really cool and chill guy.
It's pretty good.
Like, he's not stuck up like he does. Like, anytime a fan walks over him, he gets giddy. It's like, I can't believe you actually like me. It's so fucking funny.
I love it. But yeah, no, they at this point K2 has entered the picture, but now we get to the last bits of this series. This is the last little stretch of Andor. So these last 3 episodes, which
yeah, there's a lot.
There is a lot to unpack. Because we open up with this one with Luthen and Clea basically now under the gun. Like, it's go time. They are getting ready to leave. It is time to go. Time to permanently close up shop. Luthen has one final meetup with Director Young, who at this point is fully aware of what's going on. He knows what the Death Star is.
He knows.
Because he's been pulling files off Dedra's system.
Yep.
He's had
but
access
Dedra
to
doesn't
Dedra's...
actually know what it is either.
Yeah, which is even fucking wilder.
No, I guess she technically...
Well, she does, but...
She knows the name of it, but she doesn't know what it actually is.
Young, however, knows what it is. And he is now under the gun. Because he's tapped into something that basically unravels the entire reason the Imperial Security Bureau exists. Because guess what? The Imperial Security Bureau is not just the secret police of the Empire. They're here to keep people from realizing what the Death Star is. That's what the Imperial Security Bureau's entire purpose was to cover the ass of Krennic while he was building the Death Star.
Yep. Which Pendergast comes out and says, it should have been done already!
Pendergast 100% comes out of him. He hits above his, like, the project should have been finished a while ago. We can't keep these cracks from forming anymore.
It's your fault there's a leak because it should have been finished already.
The leak... Everything is coming apart now. And even Krennic tells him in part earlier, he's like, I can't protect you. I can't protect you here.
Yep.
Because Pendergast knows what it is. He knows what this is about. And now Luthen and Clea know, because Luthen got all the information he needed, which is all the key information we know is delivered for Rogue One later. Because they're told everything about Jedha, Galen Erso, Kyber crystals, all of that. They're informed pretty much on the whole spiel for everything that leads up into Rogue One.
Yep.
They get to, but instead of actually trying to help Young, fucking Luthen offs him in the park. Yep. Where they meet up. Like, he leaves and he fucking offs him. And it's actually kind of a fucking wild scene when you find out that, yeah, he's not walking away from... You know he's not walking away from this.
The way it works is,
Luthen.
2 people can keep a secret, as long as one of them's dead.
Yep.
So it's like, hey, we need to make sure that... Because they're going to find you. And then you are going to squeal because they will make you do it.
Yeah, because
so we got to make sure you're gone.
And so now that they have all this information, they now have to upend everything. It is now time to permanently close up shop and make the run back to Yavin. They need to leave and get this back to the rebels. However, Clea is given the responsibility of holding that information while Luthen closes up shop. However, he isn't able to close those doors quick enough. Because Dedra finally catches up to him. She comes into the shop. Luthen greets her like he does any other customer, gives him the whole spiel, and she pulls out specifically the star map from Steelgrad.
Yep.
And they are like, so you do actually know. Got it.
So, here's the cool thing. When she asks, is everything in here real? And he says, there are only 2 questionable pieces at the moment. That was supposed to be him and her.
Yeah, that was a fucking...
Which,
that was
I heard that line and was like, oh, that's so good! Ooh, that's so tasty!
It's even wilder because just as she's about to deliver the final hurrah, like she gets her victory lap in, I guess is the better way to put it. She realizes that he's already cooked everything.
Yep.
And then cooked himself.
She looks in the back, sees the smoke, and then immediately pulls out a blaster. Turn around or be stunned. And he's facing away from her.
He's standing there facing away from her, holding the ritual knife, the Nautilin ritual knife that he had shown her. Turns around to reveal he fucking stabbed himself in the heart.
Oh, I thought he slit his own throat.
No, he stabbed himself in the fucking chest.
Oh, what a fucking loser. You should have gone for the throat. You would have bled out way faster.
Well, I think he was trying to, like, pierce his heart to stop it.
Yeah.
I think
that's way harder to do.
It's way harder to do, but I think the knife he had was specifically for that.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be like a fucking piercing knife. It's not just like
except that it was made for Nautilin physiology, not human.
Also, it's not for Nautilin physiology. It was a Nautilin-made dagger. It was just it was made on Glee Ansem. Or at least that's it was
Nautilin ritual dagger, so they used it for Nautilin rituals.
No, it was just a ritualistic dagger from the Nautilin people on Glee Ansem.
Oh, okay.
Like that, it was supposed to be an old ritual knife that he had in his collection, but it was not for any specific people. It was just made by those people. Not that was for those people, that was made by those people. So it was stabbed into his heart. He tried to off himself, but obviously she had a response team at the ready, so...
Yeah, unfortunate. Well, I mean, good for her, but I mean, it's unfortunate for him.
Didn't help that not a single lick of it was actually authorized, but...
I mean...
So she basically botched her entire
Always
operation.
Easier to ask for forgiveness than it is permission. Unfortunately, the Empire is fresh out of forgiveness.
Yep. And she ends up costing the Empire a ton of intel because of her overestimating her play here. Because she finally jumps the gun and hunts down her famously acclaimed Axis.
Her white whale.
Yep. The one chance she had at an actual victory, and once again, slipped through her fingers.
What I'm imagining now is Dedra with a bag of potato chips. This is my perfect victory!
It's so rough, dude.
She's writing down Axis in her reports, eating a potato chip while under surveillance.
Take the potato chip,
Yagami
eat it.
Oh, I want there to be an edit of that. That's so fucking funny.
Yeah, it's the whole scene here is...
How about this, Axis? This is my perfect victory. Wait, don't stab yourself. Stop.
Stop it.
Stop. No, stop that. My perfect victory.
And we're watching this whole thing unfold from both perspectives, because Clay is watching she's watching the shop basically get run up by Imperials, and they're basically overturning the entire establishment. everything is being upended in this shop. Analyzed and checked for every little lick of rebel intelligence or whatever. Unfortunately, however, Luthen has cooked everything he had at his display.
No, everything. He poured like liquid thermite on everything and just melted.
I'm pretty sure it was some kind of like mercurial
list.
Acid. It was some kind of weird mercurial acid. Maybe gallium, actually.
All like I know is that it was liquid and it burned through all of the metal, all of it, everything.
It's not...
Probably could have burned through the floor if it, made it that far.
So any intel they could have got cooked. Because he cleared out his entire ship. He burned this fucking system. So they gained nothing. Once again, Dedra loses.
Yep.
And
Dedra
her
does
only
nothing
hope,
but lose.
Her only hope at this point is that Luthen is able to be saved at the Coruscant Gen Med Hospital. Which is wild that's where she fucking took his ass, is the Gen Med Hospital in Coruscant.
Yeah.
Because that's a big fucking hospital.
Let me just take you to, the General Hospital. Not like a secure facility. No.
And she basically upends an entire fucking facility just to make sure that she's got total security on the floor.
It's so fucking stupid. And I know why she didn't take him to a secure location is because she didn't have one. Because she was doing this all
unauthorized.
Unauthorized? But like, Christ, lady, you've made just bad decision after bad decision when it comes to this guy. Holy shit. Just think, please.
Turn on the brain like you were before you started thinking about him.
Dedra, darling.
Your hyperfixation is not helping you here. Kill.
I need you to just like sit down, like drink some tea, get really into like a board game or something. Do puzzles. Like you gotta like find a way to break this hyperfixation. You gotta do something.
Need you to take a book out of our glorious blue boy for a moment. Kill your head. Go admire some art.
Yep. Jesus Christ.
But she is... After that, Clea's working her way through trying to get to Luthen, essentially.
Yeah.
And we're also after that shown a fucking intense scene of a flashback where a much younger Luthen Rael is hanging out on a transport or a gunship or something. Okay. And he is very obviously racked from a incident that's going on, because we're hearing like bloody screams and cries as gunfire and explosions are going off in the background.
What you're hearing is he was part of the Imperial Navy, and they were subjugating a people. And by subjugating, I mean murdering them in the woods.
Openly massacring the shit out of them.
Just killing the shit out of everybody.
I found it wild because like, not only is he
if it moves, like one of the commanders, like, if it moves, it's a target. And you're like, what the fuck? And he's just sitting there like, shh, stop it, someone stop it. Please,
so here's
someone
another
stop this.
Fucking wild part. So Luthen Rael is not actually his real name. That is a anagram of his name that he took on as a false identity. Because he was, I guess it was Luthen Lear or something like that.
No, I don't think his name was Luthen.
They called him Sergeant Lear. Like the soldiers referred to him as Sergeant Lear in the flashback. And if you look at it, that's just Rael backwards.
Yeah, let me. I'm going to.
I don't know if he ever actually had I don't know if they ever gave us his actual like official name, but I know they officially identified him as Sergeant Lear.
Yeah.
Because he was an Imperial officer. He was an Imperial officer.
They literally just call him Lear.
Yeah. So Sergeant Lear was his original was the only identity we had of him, which again, we know that's his official name, but again, it's rail backwards, which
cringe.
Simple, but fuck you anyway, I guess. The Revan
Cringe.
novel did something fucking stupid. They did something similar. Fucking Averin. Was it Averin was the name they came up with?
For what?
Remember when in the Revan novel, when Canderous and Revan meet up with some of the Mandalorians, he takes on this fucking moniker, which is just an anagram of his original name. It was like Averin or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Because if they're dealing with Mandalorians and it's Revan, it very clearly would not have gone very easily.
No, come on! Like they were cool, right? Like nothing bad ever happened.
Yeah, Canderous totally didn't have to kill the woman he loved. That totally didn't have to happen.
No, that wasn't.
He totally did have to kill her in order to become the new Mandalore.
That Revan novel never actually happened.
T3 is fine.
T3's fine.
Beatrice Zurich doesn't die.
No, she's cool.
Revan doesn't endure 200 years of fucking torment. He gets to live happily with his family.
Yeah, he with Bastila raised their family. It's a very loving and great family. That book never happened. Can't believe they did my voice to me like that. That's so fucked up of them.
So there's... At this point, we're also getting the knowledge that ISB caught wind of Dedra's incident, but also the fact that Young is dead. That they found Young dead in a park. So, despite the fact that Dedra did capture Axis, and did so without authorization, they also have to deal with the fact that Director Young is dead.
Yep. Which Partagas is like, what the fuck?
Yeah, even Partagas is like, what? When did this happen? Couple minutes ago. We just got a report.
What the
They found him dead in a park.
Oh my god, dude. The best part is like, he died, and no one even thought that he was a rebel, like, plant. They're like, he was one of us. Who the fuck did that?
And then they send the dude who was in charge of the Axis operation to go and bring Dedra in. Dedra's taken into custody to go and deal with ISB, and he takes over the operation. But at this point, Clea has now infiltrated the hospital.
Yep.
And she is there for one mission, which again, we're witnessing a lot of a whole flashback, and I'll get to more of it later. I kind of touched on it, but we're gonna go into that one as its own separate piece, I think. Because she
is so good at what she does. It's kind of crazy. She
goes into the hospital posing originally as a patient, and then goes in taking on a doctor, a nurse's scrubs, and basically posing as a staff member. She's posing as a staff of the hospital. And she gets to the floor where she finds the floor where Luthen's being cared for, because he's literally being kept on life support while they're trying to treat him. He's alive and they can treat him, but that's the only thing keeping him alive right now.
Yeah.
Until they can properly treat him, that's the only thing keeping him up. And she is there with one mission in mind, and you think it's so she could help rescue him. But yeah, there's, like I said, we'll get to it. She goes through the hospital and is actually managing to very cleanly get through that hospital. Like, it's kind of crazy how efficient she is clearing the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
When she gets to the actual secured areas, there's, like, little problems she faces. And she gets to the room very easily, because not only was she able to cover her tracks and avoid detection by just just generally blending in, she also made sure that all of their transports were rigged to explode.
Yeah, makes a wonderful distraction.
So as she reaches the floor and before she enters in, she pops the remote and blows up like 5 of these transports. And that sends all of them into action, and at this point she's given the window of opportunity. She gets to Luthen's room where he's being cared for, and here's where I'm going to put more focus on the flashbacks. So obviously, like I mentioned before, we're shown a flashback of a younger Luthen who at this point is identified as Sergeant Lear, a Imperial naval officer who I guess also has a tie to the Trade Federation, because the little canteen he has actually had the Trade Federation's marker on it. Like, it had the Trade Federation insignia on his little canteen, so I imagine he had some tie to them as well.
Or he just bought it.
I mean, maybe, but why would you go and buy merchandise for a company if you don't work for that company? Or didn't have experience with that company?
Because it was cheap.
I mean, it's Trade Federation shit. It better fucking not be. They're like China. They hike the shit out of their prices.
Yes, but this is after the Trade Federation is dead.
Isn't that actually who they're supposed to be based on, is like the Chinese or whatever? Wasn't that their original inspiration?
I mean, that's exactly what the Nemoidians are.
Yeah, that's the Trade Federation.
Yeah, Nemoidians are Chinese, and it's horrific. Yeah, the accent they gave those people.
It's really bad.
Oh my god! Speaking of the Trade Federation, I was at work and there was a label that had a shortened, like, not an acronym. I guess it is an acronym. It was just a shortened acronym. Mm-hmm. And it was just NEUT-B. And my first thought when I saw it was like, oh, dude, Newt B. Gunray.
What the fuck?
You know, like Michael B. Jordan.
Oh my god.
Yo, that Newt Gunray's just like, that guy stole my name.
Awful.
He just put the B in it.
Disgusting.
I will say I was up for like 40 hours at the time.
God damn it, Jake.
I was so sleep deprived. But I was like, oh fuck, dude, Newt B. Gunray.
Oh god.
Like the famous words of Newt B. Gunray, fuck them kids.
Fuck them Jedi.
Oh.
We get to there's a whole bit in the flashback where we're shown Luthen like having to deal with the fact that he's helping to commit these horrid atrocities, essentially. Like, it's not pretty what's going on out there based on all the noise. But we're getting this weird camera perspective for that whole sequence. And it's because the reason for this is because we're seeing a much younger Clea hiding away in the cargo hold of this transport. Because she's stowed away, hiding away from the fucking atrocities going on outside.
Yep.
Luthen finds her and he pauses for a moment, realizing that maybe he could try to make a difference out of this. So he and her manage to escape, I believe, and another jump later in these cutscenes, we're shown him and her wandering through this woodland area to this village where they try to sell some old throwaway antique or something. And Clea is, for her age, surprisingly fucking professional about that whole exchange. Because even Luthen's like, okay, yeah. Because like, he just wanted to sell it for a decent amount. But he obviously does not have the deal-making skills he does now.
True.
He does not have the charisma he does now, but through Clea's own assistance there, despite being, like, fucking less than twice his age, he is blown away by the fact that she's able to sell the deal better than he could. There's another jump later where they're on another planet selling more stuff that they've I'm guessing they've either stolen or salvaged. And we also see a march of Imperial prisoners and stormtroopers walking them through the streets. When we see them later, they're lined up on a wall and they're about to be fucking firing lined.
Yup.
Like, it's one of those good old-fashioned Imperial atrocities that we love to talk about.
Yeah, Empire did nothing wrong.
They did nothing wrong except everything.
They did.
They did nothing wrong. They did nothing and they did it wrong.
They were doing... They were preparing the galaxy for something worse.
No, that's Legends continuity. We can't justify that anymore.
You still can.
Well, you're allowed to...
Just because it's Legends doesn't mean it won't happen.
Well, until Dave Filoni inevitably throws his fanboying into that, it's not happening.
I wish it doesn't happen.
And if it does, it's going to. If it does, it's happening in Rey's story. So you get an axe across the face either way.
I want to be proven right and have it happen.
But you know that it's not going to happen the way you want it to.
Yeah.
And that is the problem.
Man, they really fucked up Darth Bane, huh?
Mm-hmm. I think the whole scene, the whole flashback sequences with Clea and Luthen all kind of come together to really show that there was despite all of Luthen's like hard, like the roughness of that man, he was trying to do something. He just couldn't ever play it the way that others were.
Yeah.
He was able to direct others to do the job better, but he was never able to do the job that... He was never able to really commit the way he should have. He always had to rely on others to...
trying.
He always had to commit... That's kind of why I think the big thing is he leaned on so many people, is because it's showing throughout the sequence that he himself could never commit to something like that, or let somebody commit down a path that he wouldn't trod.
Yeah.
He's willing to commit atrocities he wouldn't let others do, but he's never willing to... He would never be the one to openly commit those atrocities himself. Because it's why in the last of those flashbacks,
and it's really weird.
It's why Luthen ends up being such a weird, dynamic character, because of all of that nonsense.
Yeah.
Because of the way he's portrayed here, and it kind of makes... Even shows like the way he treats Clea is he very much cares about her. If there's anybody he does care for, it's her. Because he literally has been risking his life to make sure she can have one. Because she was almost robbed of it when she was younger. he saved her life to make sure she could have one. And he's been putting up with all of this nonsense and working the way he has because he knows that it's going to be a long uphill battle. But if it all comes together how he plans, then his vision ends up being the right one.
This also explains why every time Clea's like, I can do it, he goes, no, we got people for that. It's because he's like, I'm going to protect you from the worst of it. Because you are, for all intents and purposes, my daughter.
Which makes that whole, last scene of that episode...
Yeah, it's rough!
Oh, that was hard. That was a hard scene to fucking watch. Because it's really fucking... It heartstrings, man. The feels.
Yeah, it's oof.
They go through this whole scene, but she does get there, kind of clearing up the rest of these flashbacks to jump back to the rest of this. We can kind of get to closing it out more. The last of this episode ends with her pulling the life support system on Luthen, literally pulling the plug on him to make sure that his secret is safe and that they can't trace any of it back. Officially cutting off every loose end he left open. And the scene ends with her giving him one last kiss goodbye, a farewell parting. She walks off scene, and it's just a fade to black of Luthen dying, the machine beeping out, and him dying. It's kind of a rough scene.
The second she pulled the life support off, it cuts to his face, and you can see for a split second that he's in immense amount of pain, and then he relaxes into death. And it is oh, fuck!
It's rough to watch. If you don't have the heart for it, it is a really rough one to go for.
That little gasp of him,
that last little death gasp.
Oh, that hurts. We know this hurts you, Shepard. Damn it, they're right.
Yeah, no, they 100% they were to send him off in any way. That was the best way they could have done it.
Oh yeah.
But we get through that, and that's the end of that episode. The next episode actually opens off later with Cleo trying to send a transmission out on a radio she pulls from literally breaking open the walls of the old apartment that she was in. The old safe house apartment. She breaks open the walls and pulls out an old transmitter to call up the rebels. A final call, essentially. And Will at this point is up moving around again. He's able to do things. And Drina, I think, is the name of the other girl the Gorman girl that he helped save. That came back with him.
Yeah.
She tells him about the radio that started pinging under it. This pinging that was going on in a box under his bed. And he's like, when did it happen? How long did it go for? And she starts getting confused, what even is it? What did it mean?
Yeah.
Then we get a cutaway to, then he starts fiddling with it, trying to get it to work, and he pulls it back. We get a cutaway to Cassian's bungalow, where he, Melshi, one of the other rebel dudes from Rogue One, actually, and kind of a partner, I guess, for Cassian at this point. And K2 are all playing a game of, what was it? They were playing some kind of board game, card game or board game or something, like Dominoes, actually. Some kind of weird version of Star Wars Dominoes.
That's kind of fun, though.
Look, Star Wars board games are all fucking weird and interesting, so
I just like the fact that K2 was also playing.
You know, it was just like, and I love one of the funnier lines from that scene is like when K2's trying to play up the analysis part. He's like, he's trying to droid you. He's trying to droid you. You can't understand people that easily. It's not that living beings are unpredictable. You can't read them like that. Like, the way K2 takes some fucking events that is kind of funny, honestly.
Really good.
But it's during that whole sequence where, Will and Drina storm into the bungalow and they're like, hey, what's going on? And like, we just gotta call it on the radio. They all kind of perk up, like, is Luthen's calling us? Like, what happened? I thought we were done.
Oh, it's not even that. It's the fact that it was like the emergency radio.
Yeah, it was like a special frequency. Like, it was a special frequency that he had tuned. But they get him sorted out. They wait on it and another transmission hits. And it's during that they're able to decipher it. They realize that this is not just a simple transmission from Luthen again. This is a final call.
Yeah.
And so they try to get permission to go on this mission.
Did you ever clean out a...
And they try to make a claim to the Rebel Council, who even in Rogue One, I'm like, I hate every single person here except for Mon Mothma and Bail. Radis may have been
this
the
one,
only other
Bail
cool
was
one.
kind of a dick too.
Bail was kind of a dick in this one, but I chalked that one up more to it wasn't our Bail Organa.
Not my Bail.
The way they, because I'm sorry, look, that's Bail's whole thing in Rogue One. Like, his known final act is like preparing Alderaan for what's coming.
Yeah.
Like, when they find out about the Death Star, that's Bail Organa's last act, is preparing Alderaan for what's coming. That's the last act that Bail Organa does.
I got it. I got it.
So it's one of those that's definitely, I don't get it. It's because especially knowing how Bail Organa is portrayed and how he was throughout the early parts of the rebellion before the Rebel Alliance even happens. He's one of the biggest factors for why the Rebel Alliance can form.
Yes.
It's like I said, it's him, Luthen, and Saw. Those are the three big players who formed the rebellion in this. Because I'm sorry, I don't care what Mon Mothma or Ezra do. It's Bail, Luthen, and Saw.
You said Ezra, and my mind immediately went to who?
Damn, we've already forgotten him. God damn.
Oh.
God dang it, man.
Hey, it's not my fault.
I know you don't care for Rebels, but come on, man.
Well, I have never watched it. I lied. I watched like the first 2 episodes, and I totally forgot who that was. It took my brain a second to remember. Like, oh yeah, the Rebels kid.
God damn it. But yeah, no, I know that they say that it's Mon Mothma and Ezra who are like the big key pieces to sparking the rebellion, but no, it's Bail, Luthen, and Saw. Those are the 3 people who really sparked the rebellion. Because Saw is, by all accounts, the fuel for the rebellion. Bail is the actual igniter. I would liken Luthen to being the... I guess you'd look at him as the actual tinder for the rebellion. He's the one who actually puts everything together. He's the one who kind of puts the pieces together, whereas Saw kind of helps accelerate it.
Yeah. He was the guy who put together all of the logs and wood. And then Saw comes by and goes, you know what this needs? Rhydonium, and pours it all over the place.
Fucking accelerant everywhere.
And then...
and Bale is the one who carefully comes in to
you know
light
what this
the
fire
fucking
needs?
match.
You know what this needs? A match real quick. We're just going to drop one in here.
And Bale does
Too
it.
bad.
The funny part is, Bale does it one at a time, too.
Yep.
Bale's the motherfucker who would have rolled up and lit a match one at a time, walking around that fucking fire, that flaming pyre. He'd just walk around lighting a match at every fucking turn as he circles that whole fucking flame.
Right until he gets to the very last part of the fire, in which case he dumps it all in, and by all in, I mean Alderaan.
Shut up. Shut up. Awful. Fucking
Not wrong, though. Not wrong, though. The destruction of Alderaan definitely spurred every rebel organization to be like, okay, no, we're working together now.
No, I think the thing that actually did it is the actual destruction of the Death Star. The destruction of the Death Star is what really gave everybody that full drive to be like, we can fight back.
No, see, that was the hope that we can do this. The one where it's like, we have to do this is the destruction of Alderaan.
It was definitely... I mean, you could even say that the whole incident on Scarif would be that way. The whole incident on Scarif and Jeddah are the reason that the rebellion has to fight. Alderaan was just like the full demonstration of we have to fight. That was just the final nail in the coffin of like, now there's no choice.
Yeah.
It's fight or lay down and die. So, because Disney can't not make frickin' Palpatine any more cartoonishly evil than he already is.
Yeah.
But there's a whole bit
that is the one thing that I really liked about the Yuzong Vong War. Was the fact that you could be like, yeah, no, Palpatine was cartoonishly evil, and then this happens. You're like, he wasn't wrong, though.
He had a reason for why he was doing this. It was just utilized in a bad way.
Yeah. The ends justified the means to him. Too bad the ends were the ending of lives of his own people.
And his.
And his.
Multiple times. Same brain cell.
Oh, man, that dude died more than anyone else in media. It's crazy.
Man has had more deaths than any... Well, no. Because remember, Diavolo's still dying.
Oh, shit, yeah, you're right.
Diavolo's still dying. His count will never change.
Forever in an infinite amount of ways.
Endlessly dying.
I watched a video, and it was a guy who was like, it was like a JoJo shitpost. So it's just like, not Jotaro. Yeah, Jotaro. It was Jotaro and Dio during their main fight at the end. And Dio's sitting there going like, man, you think my stand is crazy? You should have seen. There's a stand that's just a car. It's just a car. There's all sorts of. There's a guy in Italy right now that in order to understand his power, you have to read outside sources. String theory, motherfucker.
You think that shit's insane? Wait until you hear what my son can do.
Oh my god. It's so funny, but he's just like, there's a guy in Italy. You have to, like, read a book. String theory, motherfucker.
Awful.
It's like, oh my god, you're right. Oh, dude, Diavolo is fucking insane. And he went out like a chump.
Fucking... He's still going out like a jobber.
He's still going out like a chump. The best part is like, the timeline and world reset.
Does not change anything.
Still dying.
Does not change anything for him. That man is an outlier in reality, forever made to die. He's living through hell in every possible sense of the word.
Infinite hell. Infinite variations
Actually,
on how
no,
he's dying.
it's even worse to say that because he doesn't get the luxury of going to hell.
No.
He has been
He
forced
dies
into
and then
his
is
own
reborn
self-
again to
He's
die a different way.
in an entirely different timeline and universe.
Oh my god, dude.
He is being killed across time and space forever.
String theory. His
Fucking
stand has
stupid.
backfired.
It's fucking stupid.
Oh, dude. I love JoJo. It's
JoJo
so
is so
stupid.
stupid.
It's the best.
I think my dad actually had caught up to part. I think he got up to part 5 is where he kind of wrapped it. I don't think he pushed anywhere past it.
That is...
That's Diavolo. That's Giorno and Diavolo. Golden Experience.
1, 2, 3, 4. That is 5. Oh fuck, Stone Ocean 6? That's crazy.
Yeah, we're
In my
about
head,
to get
Stone
7.
Ocean's 5.
We're about
I
to
think
get
it-
7.
I think
'Cause they
I
actually
just
announced the
completely
anime,
ignore 4.
I mean, they did they basically did just ignore 4. 4 didn't happen. It's not real.
The only thing that happened out of 4 is Rohan, and he's dope.
Rohan and Koichi.
I don't even like Koichi that much. I think Rohan's the star of the show.
I mean, he did get his own special and was also... He's also in part 9. He is a big facet in part 9.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing.
Because his, like,
Rowan.
alt timeline self is the reason that new Jotaro and the new JoJo ends up being involved in what he is. I didn't even know that much about part 9, but I remember that part.
I am positive, and I haven't even looked any of it up, but I am positive that Rohan is just Arik.
You think that's Araki?
I think that's Araki.
That'd be kind of funny if that were the case.
He's a mangaka with stand powers. Yes, that is just Araki.
It's fucking...
that is just him being like, this is me. He doesn't even, like... He does some cool stuff, but, like, he's not even, like, a bad guy ever. He's just, like, people keep fucking with him. He's like, get the fuck away from me! I'm trying to do shit!
Yeah,
Everyone else in that part is JoJo fans, and he's literally just writing and be like, leave me alone, I'm doing my best. Leave me alone, I'm doing my best.
Yeah, and we still can't get away from the murdering of puppies. We
Nope.
can't get away from the murdering of dogs and making them ugly.
Nope.
The poor man cannot draw dogs, and he cannot keep them alive.
Oh man, Iggy is so fucking ugly, dude.
It's awful.
God damn it. The only dog that was fine was
Jonathan's.
Jonathan's
Maybe
dog
that
was
one
fine.
kind of...
Dead
the anime
dog!
At least. The anime at least doesn't do him a whole lot of justice.
The dog is fine. It is not berserk horses. Nothing's as bad as berserk horses.
Oh, God,
And I'm not even
damn
talking
it.
about the evil bad horse. I'm talking about just the horses animated in general. They're all terrible.
I think I can pretty much wrap most of this whole last bit off because there isn't much left to really talk about here. So, like I was saying before, they're trying to meet with the full... But fucking wrapping this whole segment up. The fucking rebels are meeting with... Andor goes to meet with the council. They try to get him the okay... He tries to get the okay to go on this mission to save Luthen. they deny him, of course, because all of them are fucking stupid politicians who don't actually know what the fuck they're doing.
Correct.
And despite the fact that Mon Mothma is even one of the I think it's Mon Mothma and Admiral Raddus are the only two who actually are like, yeah, we could probably use him right about now.
Yeah.
So they deny him the mission, but he goes off anyway because Cassian is Cassian.
Yeah. Zero respect for authority.
He is Rogue One.
True.
He goes off on the mission. He takes K2 and Melshi to go and save who they think they're going to save Luthen. What they find out is that they're actually going to meet Clea. And Clea is the only one left.
Yep.
And
then you get to see my boy have a Vader moment.
Yeah, no, he comes through. So the ISB catches on that they found Clea. They know who she is and how she's tied to Luthen.
Dude, the best part is like as they're going over like the cameras of the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, okay, it's got to be a team, minimum 3 people, in order to pull this off.
Just this
and
one.
They
woman.
find out it's just her, and she's actively looking away from cameras as she's walking by, like she knows they're there. And they're like, oh, hold on, we got one of her face. We got one of her face. Okay, that's her. We got to get her.
And so they send a whole fucking comp force team out. They don't even send stormtroopers or like Imperial security. They send a comp force unit. Which, for those who don't know, comp force is a old Legends group of like Imperial enforcement teams that were used as like planet. They're not even SWAT. They are a step under commandos. They would basically be the FBI.
Yeah, okay. I can see that.
They are basically the like actual forces of the FBI. Because if the Imperial Security Bureau is supposed to be just the CIA, but really bad at their job. The comp force would be the FBI. They are, by all accounts, the general like governmental security force. And they are specifically stationed on key Imperial worlds. The comp force is only stationed on a number of Imperial worlds with high value.
Almost like, I don't know, could be Coruscant?
Yeah, Coruscant is definitely one of their key headquarters. I think in Naxxus is actually where most of them are trained. If I remember right, I think it's either Karita or Naxxus is where most of the comp force is actually trained.
Okay.
And I have to double check that to actually verify, but they're a whole fucking they're a whole version of themselves of like elite security team. They go in there with the ISB agent who has taken over the Axis project, and they arrive there, they jam all the signals, so K2 is no longer able to be in contact with Cassian and them. They lose all contact there, and K2 realizes like, oh no. And he goes out, and the comp force team infiltrates the apartment. They have a single window because they can't pinpoint the exact floor of where the transmission came from. So they initially get to like some old couple's room and they realize this is the wrong floor. Go up one more. And that gives them just enough time for Cassian and Melshi to meet up with Clea. And so they're able to meet there, but they're blocked off from any communication, so they don't know what's going on outside. K2, on the other hand, decides to roll up, and it's one of the transmissions from the Comp Force dudes that comes up. He's like, did we order a droid out here? And all of them just pause like, what?
What are you talking about?
And the dude walks up to him, he's just like, hey, are you on our side? He doesn't say anything, fucking bowls him over and launches him off the balcony edge. You're like,
oh, no.
No.
He does say something.
No, he says it afterwards. He says it afterwards. He's like,
yeah,
no.
K2, yeah! Fucking love it. And it's crazy how, like, the two guys inside by the elevator
Because
have a straight shot to see him do this, and they don't for some reason.
What's even wilder, because he gets into the shuttle that they use to land in, which, by the way, is like a weird... It looks almost like a weird variation on the Lambda and the Republic shuttle. Like, it looks like a mix of the new class shuttle that the Republic used during the Clone Wars and the Lambda shuttle that is mainly used by Imperial officials.
It's a chunky shuttle.
It's still a cool looking shuttle, but it is,
and it's small enough to land on like balconies.
It's a compact
as
piece.
Opposed to like the actual
fucking
Lambda shuttle, which would not fit.
No, the Sentinel is the one that would not have fit on there, because the Sentinel is the long fucking big long shuttle that they use in like Rebels and shit.
I'm even talking like the one that Darth Vader's in like A New Hope. That wouldn't have fit on there either. It's too wide.
No, Lambda would have fit.
I don't think so. Agree to disagree. It's okay to be wrong.
I mean, the Lambda can only fit like 8 people max anyway, so
yeah.
Not counting crew, it's only got an 8-person passenger. This thing is probably close to that. Because it was carrying a whole team of, what, 12? Plus crew?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they get word that there's an unknown droid out. They get known that there's an unknown enforcer droid out here, and the guys at the shuttle are like, you know, we're trying to get him, trying to figure out what's going on, and then all of a sudden, screaming from the back as one of the dudes gets thrown forward. He just realizes that something's gone wrong out there. He's like, hey, you're not supposed to be up. No. He just fucking cuts out as K2 fucking throttles him and breaks the transmitter. So the jammer is he sings the jammer and crushes it, causing all communication to break at this point. So now they can't relay to the actual security team, and they can't get anybody out there in enough time. Because now the jammer has been overridden and overdrive, so they can't shut it off.
Yep.
The only way they could shut it off is if they destroy the shuttle at this point. Which there's nobody out there to do that, because K2's knocked him the fuck out. And I think it's even crazier because when they actually get to the floor and have the little brief firefight with Cassian and them, they throw a fucking concussion grenade in there, causing all of them to be knocked the fuck out. Melshi's thrown about. He's completely in disarray. Cassian is the only one who's like coherent to any degree. And Clea almost had her fucking like head broke. Her fucking
Clea
skull
almost
nearly
died.
Broke. She almost dies. She almost dies for the concussive blast. It's when they're about to breach in that all of them pause as one of their guys gets fucking thrown. When suddenly K2 rolls up around the hallway and one of the hardest fucking walks that he could have gone on. Like, he goes and picks up the ISB dude. He goes and hauls this dude up by the fucking scruff of his fucking shirt. And they start shooting at him anyway. Like, he's holding this dude up. This is the ISB dude that they were holding up. He's using this man as a shield as he's walking towards the other guys.
Yeah, literally walking towards, and as they're shooting him, he's moving the ISB dude's body in front of each blaster shot.
It's fucking crazy. But yeah, no, he's 100% able to like clear the. He's 100% able to clear most of that scene. It's he clears that whole hallway himself.
Oh yeah.
Taking maybe 1 or 2 blaster shots.
I don't think he took any.
Well, I know the fucking ISB dude took a couple. Because they light that poor
Catch
bastard.
it, Neppa. Catch
up.
it with your teeth.
Yay! Like a doggy.
Oh, dude, that guy got absolutely fucking rocked. What? And the thing is, like, he's like a main like character in this whole like season. Like he's like anytime they switch to ISB, he's there and he's talking like he's a character, and just like a jobber, dude.
Gunned down by your own fucking firing squad.
Just picked up by a droid and used as a human shield as they shoot at you.
Yeah, there's no fucking check fire in the Empire.
No.
Friendly fire check? What's that?
Friendly fire is.
All my hell divers know.
I have never heard a single Imperial ever shout backblast, backblast before they fired a rocket. Never heard it once.
Then again, have you ever watched an Imperial fire a rocket? I want you to think long and hard.
Oh, hold on. They'd have to, right?
When? For what? They don't have to. The Rebels don't get tanks. Star Wars canon makes that blatantly known that they don't use tanks for whatever reason. So there's no armor in the Rebellion's arsenal.
Yeah, they've got ships. Didn't someone fire a rocket at the U-Wing in Rogue One as they were landing on Scarif?
No, that was a ship. That was I think that was one of the TIE Strikers that did that. I think there was it was a TIE Striker that did that. One of the defense fighters that was flying around shot down the U-Wing. But I mean the rest of this kind of wraps up pretty much as expected. They get off planet, they return. Cassian at first is grounded. They find out about what's going on from intel through the actual contact that we find in Rogue One that Cassian meets. Clea is patched up and everything's kind of closed up, but everything kind of wraps up with Cassian getting ready to march off to meet with the contact that he sees in Rogue One. Like, this pretty much leads directly into Rogue One, where this ends off. Because the whole, like, majority of that episode is Cassian's last march and kind of seeing all the others. The only other big thing to note is after Cassian and them get away, is Partagaz is sitting in the ISB headquarters in the meeting room. He's sitting there listening to the dude from Aldani's like manifesto. He's listening to the manifesto that they had taken from the dude on Aldani. And he's sitting there listening to it, and the other guy comes in, one of the other director dudes comes in, and he's just like, Major, they're waiting for you. And he's like, give me just a moment to prepare. And they have a little brief moment talking in like a somber moment before he kind of like gives them the whole thing, like, just give me a moment to prepare myself. He steps outside. The dude Partagaz pulls out a blaster pistol They're standing outside. There's stormtroopers waiting. All of a sudden, you hear a blaster shot. And the stormtroopers are ready to move in, but the ISB dude just like, no. Just... No.
Yep. No, what Partagas said right before he was like, I'll be right there, was on this like, it's everywhere. We can't stop it now, can we? It was something along those lines. Like
something along those lines. Like he's realizing that everything has fallen apart at this point.
Yeah.
The cracks have formed well beyond what they're capable of. Well beyond what they're capable of containing.
Yeah. This is no longer a like contained insurrection. This is now full-blown rebellion.
It's another part that I kind of glanced over was the whole bit with Krennic and Dedra in the interrogation room. That whole bit I completely forgot to mention.
Dedra just fucking fumbling.
Oh, like, Dedra 100% fumbling the bag, but at the same time, that is one of the hardest sequences I've ever seen for Krennic.
Oh yeah, dude. No, that because you see Krennic like every now and then he's just like talking. I think that's one thing, like, okay, yeah, he's kind of an asshole.
You're seeing the ISB interrogation room that we had seen Cyril in after he came in to talk about the Ferrix incident. And we're sitting here thinking like she's gonna get the interrogation now, it's all coming together, but then you watch Krennic move across the screen in like the dark part, on like the other side of the glass. He's turning off all the monitors and turning off all the systems. She realizes that something has started to feel wrong, and it's only when the door opens that she really feels that I'm done. It's over now.
It's over.
It is, in fact, Jover.
It has never been as Jover as it is now.
I'm gonna get done in like Price, aren't I?
Oh, no! Yeah, Krennic walks in, is just like, so, who else knows?
That's literally what he opens off like, who else knows? And she's like, I don't know what you mean. You know, it would have been better if you had played yourself off as a rebel sympathizer, because then maybe you would have gotten away with it sooner.
Yeah. It seems your talents are wasted here. They were better spent being a real rebel sympathizer. Damn! You missed your calling. Oh!
He absolutely lays it into her. He is not like, he is relentless in how he absolutely flattens her entire character at this point.
This is also when you find out that Krennic knows that the ISB guy who died in the park
had gotten a hold of her information.
Rebel. Yeah, like he was like, oh, no, that dude was the problem.
But you allowed it to leak, which is why I believe you're in league with him.
Yeah. Why did you have all of these documents you weren't supposed to have? Well, it's because I was looking for Axis. Bullshit. What?
You're just
I wouldn't have had to hide the documents if you just let me do my job. Oh, so that's where we're going with now. It's my fault, huh?
You're just a filthy little scavenger, aren't you?
God, dude. Here's the thing. That interrogation was so good because it was an internal interrogation. It wasn't one where like, yes, we've caught a rebel and now we're going to interrogate them, because that would have just been like, okay, yeah, they're going to torture him. Yeah, that's what happens. This was like, I'm not going to inflict any physical pain on you. I am, however, going to ruin your whole life.
I'm going to lay out every facet of why you fucked up. And I'm going to make you realize why you have failed. Your entire life was ruined not because of anybody else, but yourself.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. Woof.
You flatlined your career. Nobody else.
You flatlined your career and yourself. You did this, Dedra.
Even wilder when we see the final scene of Dedra in one of those same Imperial complex prisons that we saw in the first season. She's in one of those exact same establishments.
Yep. No shoes, floor is lava, just fucking weeping.
Like, it's...
And what's crazy is this woman has never shown any emotion other than I'm in control or slight flustered. And then the very last scene you see is her is her crying. And you're like, oh no! It finally hit her what she did. Stupid.
She has finally hit rock bottom.
She Ahabbed herself.
But of course, this episode doesn't just end with... The series doesn't just end with Cassian going off to meet the Contact. There is one final scene to all of this, where we return to the Agri world that was in the start of this season. And we see B2 playing with another droid. And we also see Bix, who I guess has returned to this world and now has a presumably little baby Andor.
Little baby Andor.
And I saw a clip of this. And they did the ending of Rogue One side by side with the final scene of Andor. Like Cassian's final moments in Rogue One. They sync them together, and if you watch that clip, it's so much, because you know, especially if you've seen the movie prior, you watch that scene and you know that as this is happening, this is a parallel of Cassian's final moments to there's supposed to be like a parallel of visuals here.
Yeah.
It's such a good final shot. Because the only actual words spoken are when Bix is trying to calm her child after the baby starts crying when a slight change in lighting hits, and you know that that's supposed to be him dying.
Yep, that's
his
rough.
Fuck, it's so good though. It's such a good scene. Because it showed that he did manage to keep her safe, but he was never gonna get the life he wanted. He was going to continue to make sacrifices to his last. All so that he could keep the people he cared about most safe. And that's why I love this series so fucking much.
It's really
They
good.
wrapped this one so perfectly. Like, ugh. Like I said, there's only really one actual flaw of the entire series, and like I said, it's just that one scene where Cinta dies. Like, that scene never had to happen the way it did. That was a like, what the fuck moment scene.
Yeah, I was like, hey, that seemed forced. Like I said, that had to happen for character growth. You're like, this sucks.
Also had to happen because we had to have the actual aggressive spark for, we also had to have the actual show of aggression that sparks the Empire against Gorman.
Yeah.
So it just... It's that one scene that I think really tears it, but otherwise this was a top to bottom perfect fucking series. Best fucking piece of media Disney has ever put out for Star Wars. It only serves to further enhance Rogue One when you go back to rewatch it after seeing this. You see all of the fucking, like, context pieces and everything. It's so much better. Rogue One was already the best Star Wars movie that Disney put out.
Yes.
But with Andor's added context, all they did was make it even better.
Oh yeah. God,
So it's bottom line there, it's just Andor was, by all accounts, a phenomenal fucking series.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I could ever not relay this to anybody. Like I recommend, if you've been on the fence about Star Wars and have been looking for a reason to find a glimmer of hope amidst all the shit show that has been Star Wars the last half decade, definitely fucking go watch this. Go watch Andor, and you will find that light of hope to keep pushing on for something better.
Yes. If there's anything you can take away from this, watch Andor. Fucking do it.
It's so good.
Again, best piece of Disney Star Wars media released ever.
Our little like synopsis and review of this is, it doesn't do it anywhere near the justice that the show itself gives. Our little synopsis does not do enough justice of it. You definitely have to go watch it yourself.
Yes.
It is worth every fucking second. Like, the first season, phenomenal. The second season doubles down and makes it even better. I honestly wished that... I don't think they could have done this in a 5-season format like they were talking. At best, we would have gotten a 3-season.
Yes.
It would have been like that whole year of... That whole, like, the first year after, we get a lot more context for everything that's been going on after Ferrix. Then after that, we start building up and prepping for Gorman. That would have been 3rd season.
Yep.
Gorman and all the stuff that leads up to prepping for Rogue One, that's 3rd season. 2nd season is everything kind of like after Ferrix, getting ready to build up Gorman and all this as like the next big thing. It would have been so much better that way. I think had Tony Gilroy actually gotten his 5-season plan, I would have been interested to see what he did with that.
Yes.
But I don't know if he would have gotten... I don't know if he could have gotten the same...
No, this was too tight. Like, it was a... Not enough room for him to... Like, he didn't have enough rope to hang himself with.
Yeah. There's not enough... Like, there's not enough rope to tie this boat down.
Yeah. This was a focused season, and it was really good.
Right. I did love a lot of the did love the way that they tackled a lot of these. Star Wars has always been something that mixes a lot of its views. And again, like I mentioned at the start of this, like Star Wars is obviously supposed, like people view Star Wars and it's supposed to be something for little kids. It's for like 12, as Filoni put it at one point, he said it's a series, it's a franchise made for 12-year-old boys.
Yep.
Like it's not always gonna have all this crazy, like, harder, dark stuff, like more serious tone. It obviously has those serious tones in some of these series, but it will never be the way Andor is. If that makes any sense.
And I want more of that.
Honestly, I kind of agree. Seeing Andor like this really pushed a lot of the envelope for me and be like, yeah, no, I want more of this. I want to see more of this. Like, even if the other stuff reaches this level of quality, I think I'd be fine with getting, like, the more normal Star Wars stuff. More normalized content from Star Wars. I would be fine with that if it reached this level of quality. But it makes me look back on all of these projects that Disney has made, and like nothing compares to this. Like Mandalorian obviously will always have that huge like burst up with its first season, but you can't reach this level of quality if you, especially as somebody who is a deep Star Wars fan. This is a series that, for those in the harder core spectrum, this is that show. This is that show for the harder core people. For the mature audience that has been looking for something darker, grittier. For the people who are looking for a way to find redemption in Star Wars. Like this right here is that single sliver. But I think that at this point we've given all of our credit. It's by all accounts a 10 out of 10. Like there's no other rating I think I could give this.
No.
It's a 10 out of 10.
It is perfect.
I do think though that is going to be where we start to wrap it up. I think the only things to mention at this point are that our episode from last week where we covered bounty hunting, or more specifically what we will cover beyond just bounty hunting, will go up probably tomorrow after the book club. I think I will put that out tomorrow after the book club, because I didn't get the chance to, because the internet's been fighting me all week.
Yeah.
It seems to be doing better now, but it was definitely a problem beforehand, and I wasn't about to fuck with it. I had to go and I'm also thinking that my processor is starting to become a little more worn. So that's going to need to be something that either gets replaced or I have to figure out something there.
Yeah.
I will, however, go ahead and inform everybody of what our next topic will be. So I did have to consider this one a good bit, and I think this is probably gonna be the topic I finally start this.
Okay.
I think what we will be covering next will officially start us down a more crazy path in terms of going into the beyond lore of Star Wars Legends.
Okay.
Because I think it's about time I start pushing us towards an era that especially since we're just now wrapping our first book on it. I think it's time we start talking the Old Republic.
Yeah! The best Star Wars that has ever been.
And a number of people will try to refute that, but your opinions are wrong. I'm sorry.
It's okay to be wrong.
You are allowed to have your opinions. Your opinions just happen to be wrong.
You don't have to be right all the time. It's okay to be wrong, especially about this.
But it's definitely it's one of those that I can't keep fighting off wanting to talk about. We've mentioned it in a bunch of parts already. We're about to cover probably one of the biggest moments in the later parts of this era. So I think it's time we start actually covering the Old Republic.
Yeah.
So that'll be our topic that'll be our start off for next week. We'll get a video. We'll be doing more of a general overview of that timeline to open it off before we start really tackling deeper topics into it. But next up but after that we have the book club tomorrow. Star Wars: The Old Republic Deceived. Go check it out. Finish it up real fast. You could probably do it before the book club tomorrow if you start now.
Oh, for sure.
Let it run now. It's literally like 13 hours. You could sit there, let it run as you're going through your day and catch up real fast. So go check it out. But book club will be tomorrow. As of this video going up, I will put up the upload that I did not get around to, that I couldn't get out last week. That'll go up tomorrow as well after the book club. So go check that out. And we will be on streaming on Twitch with our usual book club shenanigans. Hopefully next week I will also be back to proper streaming. Hopefully starting next week, schedule gets a little bit more regulated. My Pokemon League's no longer running like it used to, so we're gonna be on our break from that because our last games are this Monday. So our last leg of this season is happening this Monday, so it's all coming together here. But after May, once the summer officially kicks up, I think everything's gonna fall into place a little easier. There was gonna be like one weekend where I won't be around, 1 or 2 Saturdays I won't be around to do anything, but I will prepare some stuff in the interim if need be. Otherwise, I will probably reveal the book for next month I have the book revealed next month for June, tomorrow when we finish up the book club. So check that out. And as always, everybody, I hope you enjoy. Make sure you hit all the buttons, do all the things, check out all the series. Until next time, this has been the Freelancer signing off. Until then, goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye!